are live with another episode of the Keeg Talks. Today, the Keeg Talks, one of the biggest movies of the year, if not the biggest movie of the year. We got Keeg Talks, Spider-Man, Brand New Day. I'm your host, Dimitri Pereira, and if you're watching us live, you're watching us on youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or maybe you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., etc. However you are watching us, listening to us, digesting us, like, comment, subscribe, follow. If you're watching us live, hop in the chat. If you're listening to the podcast, write a review, help us out, do your thing. We love to see people chime in because there's a lot to talk about this movie. And because there's so much to talk about this movie, and because the Keeg Talks isn't just me yapping on and on. No, I got two guests with me today. If you're listening to the podcast, maybe you don't know who these guests are. If you're watching us, you could see who our guests are. One, our first guest, he's normally on Comic Talk, talking about comics as they come out week after week. You may also know him from San Diego Comic-Con at the Comics for Education panel. We got Drew Maxey, aka Drew X Deficit, aka pronounced Drew Deficit, the X is silent. In this movie, by the way, spoilers for this movie, is the X silent? Who knows? Drew Maxey, what's up, Drew?
Hey, how you doing? Hold on. There we go. All right. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about Spider-Man. I got my black cherry polar. I'm very excited to talk about this movie. I actually requested, hey, if you do a Keeg Talks for this one, let me hop on that. And I sent that to you legitimately, like while I was walking out of the theater, because I really loved this movie and I want to talk about it.
See,
So.
all your texts got blocked. Like, I didn't get any of the text. I only got the text that you sent that said, let me hop on that. And so I was very confused why you were hitting on me when you could have just said it to me outright at San Diego Comic-Con.
Well, I didn't want to make anybody else jealous. So, I figured I would keep that private. There's a power imbalance because you're kind of like my boss on these, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, let's just forget that ever happened. But I'm glad to have you on this show talking about this movie specifically. Glad to have you back. Also, glad to have back, I believe the last episode of the Keeg Talks he was on was Daredevil Born Again Season 2, I think.
That's correct.
Was that what it was? We got
Yes,
Jay
yes.
Fridge, aka Jay Phrygian. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, y'all? Similarly, I wish I had something to pop on, but I'm just rocking this purified water, Publix, hydrating. I had enough soda earlier today. I want another soda. Anyways, not the point. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, so to be asked to come on and talk about Spidey, it's a match made. Especially, it sounds like, Drew, you enjoyed the movie as well. Definitely excited to get in to talk about the good, the bad, the nitty gritty. There wasn't really bad. There's some bad discussions online, but that's a whole other thing.
I mean, I would
And we're
love
gonna
to
get all
tackle
into
that
it.
as well. I mean, we got the full time to talk about the good, the bad, maybe the ugly. Is there the ugly? Is there the unnecessary? I mean, we could talk about all of that.
I'm on the show, so there's definitely ugly and unnecessary.
That's
This guy.
let us know in the chat if you're watching us live and whether Drew is ugly and or unnecessary. We got Ashwan231 Comics in the chat saying hello. Can't wait to talk Spider-Man. Wasn't in the chat for Comic Talk this week because he fell asleep, but he's here now. So Ash1231, thanks for always tuning in. And then we got You Seen That Guy saying, my boy Jay.
Thanks. What's up, bro? He out here cranking out Spider-Man Brand New Day videos right as we speak, man. Thank you
Everybody-
for tuning in. I know you're busy.
I think it's so cool. I love just being plugged into internet stuff where like the Odyssey comes out and everybody has Odyssey videos where I'm like, there's like some fresh new stuff where I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that way, or like just funny things. And then I know Spider-Man, I mean, this movie is gonna be that, right?
This movie's gonna might be the talk of the daggum town for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so I start at the end of the month. I'm going to be back in the classroom.
Yeah.
And I know I'm gonna have like a bunch of kids who want to talk about Spider-Man because it's gonna be like a lot of young kids don't go see a lot of movies. This will be like maybe the one or two that like the first one or maybe the I don't know, one of three that they see for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm gonna be excited to get their thoughts on it, just be excited about it with them.
Something that I think as we're going into, what we thought about this movie, I think expectations were really high for this movie, right?
Hmm.
And that's because we've had so many Spider-Man movies for so long, right? I mean, for the longest time, we didn't have any Spider-Man movies, right? Like Spider-Man was one of those concepts in the '90s that people were like, make a movie, make a movie, make a movie. James Cameron was supposed to make a movie. There was like some, people came on, people fell off, they couldn't get one, and then eventually Sam Raimi does it in 2002. It comes out, smash hit. We get Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 doesn't quite, perform quite as well. Not only that, Sam Raimi, is he in? Is he out? Are the actors in? Are they out after 3 movies? Who knows? Then we get a reboot, Amazing Spider-Man 1, Amazing Spider-Man 2. That doesn't perform that well. But around that time, the MCU's coming up. So they're like, we need this. How do we do this? Blah, blah, blah. Then we get Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War, which is just a wild way to introduce the character to the MCU, but people loved it, ate it up. We get Spider-Man Homecoming, we get Spider-Man
Far from home.
what was it? Which one?
Far from
Far
home.
From Home is the second. I get that one mixed up with No Way Home. At the same time, we're getting Sony's Spider Villain movies.
All right, bro. We don't talk about things
Yeah.
that don't exist.
Spider-Man's in Infinity War, he's in Endgame. We what happens after that? Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, No Way
Endgame and then No
Home
Way Home.
has the other two Spider-Man in it. Then we're leading into this. There's a lot of weight coming behind it. Did I sum that up all correctly?
When you really think about it, the continuity now of Spider-Man, thanks to No Way Home, spans 2001 until now
Mm-hmm.
because they have made Andrew and Toby's universes like canon to the whole continuity. It's actually a lot. It's kind of too much now that you really summed it up just now.
Not to mention, what did Venom coming into the MCU do at all?
I mean, who knows? Maybe something eventually. We won't see that payoff for a minute. It doesn't help that Venom 2, I talked about this. Venom 2 semi like retconned the end of No Way Home because they like redid how he left the universe, where everything happened,
Venom
and it's
3,
just
right?
like, yeah, in Venom 3,
Yeah.
yeah, they like retconned No Way Home's ending. To me, people were like, I think just both endings exist. I was like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. So
Nothing in the Sony
again,
universe made sense. I don't want to get too off track with that, but like the Vulture, Morbius, what, who's hopping where? I don't know. I don't know.
things that just shouldn't have happened
Yeah,
for 500, Alex.
yeah. Drew, did I? How we feeling with the weight of the Spider-Man franchise going, like leading up to this movie?
I mean, so I'll just give you my thoughts on that, which essentially, like I was there in 2002. I saw the Tobey Maguire in the
We were
theater.
there.
I was in eighth grade, I think, eighth or ninth grade. I can't remember when it came out. Um and I saw Spider-Man 2, and I know Spider-Man 2 for a long time, and even still, a lot of people consider that like that's the greatest superhero movie ever made.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not one of those people. I think that there are a lot. I think there are better movies since then. But I wouldn't really argue with anybody who said that. I I don't think I've ever seen Spider-Man 3 all the way through.
Hmm.
Um, I saw both the Amazing movies, and I've seen all of these Tom Holland movies, all in theaters, like within the first week. Actually, Far From Home I was on tour with a band in Boston, and it was the day after the 4th of July, and we were like, I was just kind of like, if we have time, I'm gonna go see this movie because I loved Homecoming so much that like I don't want to wait the next like 8 days for me to be home
Hmm.
to be able to go see it. So I like went away from my bandmates, and a couple other people came with me just to like take time out to see that movie. And I made a lot of people I made some people mad because they were just like, dude, like you're abandoning us. We have to stick together. I was like, nope, I'm going to see this movie.
I mean,
Uh,
they could all go see the movie.
I
they
say
didn't
you
want
should
to.
have come. You should have came with me then,
Yeah.
bro. Because
Yep.
we don't play about
Right.
Spider-Man, bro. I would
So
have done the same thing.
all of that is to say, um, the I love Homecoming. Like Homecoming is like maybe number two or number three in the entire MCU for me.
It's
Um,
very structurally sound as a movie.
I love Homecoming. I think it's a small movie, like in terms of like the stakes,
Yeah.
but just those the character moments I think are great. I think Far From Home is a little bit weaker. And I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of people say that No Way Home lost its luster after the first viewing, and it just kind of like relies on the nostalgia bait. But I will say, um, even though I saw all those movies, I have no nostalgia for the Raimi and Webb Spider-Man movies.
Hmm.
Um, I think that they are fine, but they don't like I I I don't have like that kind of connection with them. They're just movies to me, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think No Way Home is incredible, mostly because to me, I think that it pulls off a really fun trick
Yeah.
while not solely relying on nostalgia. It like those characters are fully realized characters coming into this world. Like they bring their respective series with them,
Yeah.
but even if you like me, I'm not super into those movies. Um, they make sense. They fit in the world. So all of that is to say that I was very curious about how this movie was going to handle everything that had been built up so far. Um, and it's interesting, structurally, and I don't know if I'm getting too far ahead here, but like structurally, it's the Spider-Man origin story, which we never got with this Spider-Man. And I
Hmm.
think that that's kind of a really interesting sort of way to do it because your fourth movie is now your origin story, and it's continuing from a trilogy that is kind of very neatly, um, put together, and almost everything kind of ties up very, very nicely at the end.
Yeah.
But it's also, yeah, like it's both a new series and the continuation of the old series and the continuation of the MCU as a whole. And that sounds like it would be a nightmare, but it works. All of it worked.
Yeah. By the way, can you see me and hear me?
I can.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can.
Cool. Am I
If you
moving?
was- yes, I see you
Okay.
moving.
Because my
It's,
computer's freaking out. But okay, cool. Good
it
to know
said,
that
ah.
at least, the show itself is going on. Um uh yeah, I mean, oh, and I forgot to mention Into the Spider-Verse uh and all that. Those two movies came out in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man is a very realized character. Kind of to Drew's point, I think that the thing that's interesting with Spider-Man as a franchise, Spider-Man No Way Home specifically, there are different ways to look at it, especially with the nostalgia factor. But then I always look at it as it was probably the most comic booky Marvel movie that we had in the sense that like I could watch the 90s animated Spider-Man cartoon, and then there's an episode where all of these different universes of Spider-Man link up. They're people who exist. We don't really get we get like a synopsis for them, but like they're realized, they're all chatting. And it's just one of those things of like seeing three Spider-Men. You could have had three other people that weren't like, you could have had not Toby and Andrew.
Yeah.
Um, and like you could have had I don't know, a Miguel O'Hara from the animated becoming into live action. The idea of a Spider-Verse moment in live action for me was the like real draw, and what I think like still makes it last, even if you don't have like that nostalgia pull for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for when I feel like I'm watching a comic book in live action, and when the three of them land together, I mean that's like just the most Spider-Man shit ever.
Yeah. So as we move this episode along, and forgive any technical difficulties that are out there, I think the show's still going. Um, I want to know, uh, out of 10, how you guys felt about Spider-Man Brand New Day. What would you would give it out of 10? And then just a quick thought. And I'm saying quick thought because we'll be able to expand more as this episode goes. Quick thought on like why it hit that mark for you for whatever reason. I don't know if any of you guys have like a definitive out of 10 that you wanna who wants to go first, but that's up to you guys.
Drew, you want to go? I can go first.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, for sure. So I've only gotten to see Spider-Man Brand New Day once so far. I really want to, really badly want to see it in Screen X as well, because a lot of people are saying, you know, it's first movie shot for Screen X, kind of get that experience.
Oh,
And I want
okay.
to have a second viewing just to really solidify. But on the first watch out of 10, I would say it landed at an 8.9 for me. 8.9 out of 10. If it was out of 5 stars, I would be like 4.5 stars. I typically am just not a 10 out of 10 on the first watch type of person. A lot of times it's movies that have withstood the test of time, or I've been able to sit with for a little bit and really think about. And like the more that I sit with my first watch, it could land that for me. But yeah, I would say for me, 8.9, incredibly solid film. Again, very Spider-Man feeling, like it captured the spirit of Spider-Man in a way that I don't think we have seen. While people will obviously make the comparisons to like Spider-Man 2, I think that it captures the heart of Spider-Man a different angle than Spider-Man 2. So it's not, you can't even one-to-one them, because the way that it tackles heart and trauma and characterization and into the story as well, but like how that affects Peter Parker and Spider-Man and the identity of those two people at the same time, that one person, um it did it very differently and in its own way, and I do love it for that. So very, very good Spider-Man movie. I've got to really sit and figure out how I want to rank a lot of that. I think you said at the beginning, there's no bad Spider-Man movies to me. There's some that are not the best, but like none of them are unwatchable, I guess is the better answer that I would say.
Okay. Okay. So what was the score again? Sorry.
Mine was a
8 out of 10?
8.9. Off 9 out of 10.
Sorry,
Edging 9.
I think I'm cutting out. Give me one quick second. Pause that thought for a sec.
You
And I can still hear you guys.
I don't know
Give
if
me a
everybody can still see the show. I'll just try to fake entertainment.
There we go. This
While
is
we
something.
go.
All right.
Interlude.
It'll get fixed in a sec.
I mean, what would content creation and podcasting and interviewing and doing a show be without technical difficulties? You know what I mean?
Yeah. There we go.
I'm not cutting out for you anymore.
Cool. No. And we've been streaming this whole time, which is good. And that's not you guys. That's that was all on me. So sorry about that.
Yeah, you're good. No, I was telling I told the audience, told Drew while you were stepping away, 8.9 out of 10. All first watch. I need a second watch or just a little more time with it to really solidify. But I think this movie, I could confidently say that with time, this movie would probably sit at like a 9.5 to me.
You say it's gonna go up?
I believe it's gonna go up. Movies often for me go up as they have rewatchability. And I'm a big like, how rewatchable is it for me? And like off the first watch, I'm like, I would watch this like over and over again to like catch little Easter eggs,
Yeah.
or to show like those little moments. I mean, it takes also, and Destin Daniel Creighton and Tom talked about this, heavy inspiration on the video games, which were
Yeah.
amazing.
We'll be able
And
to
you
get
can
into all
see
that, but
that. Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. It's just, there's a lot of why this movie will go up for me. My score right now is just off of my first watch, where I haven't really been able to go back and be like, oh, I missed this or I missed that, or I didn't catch this, or okay, this is why this one hits me hard. But
Okay.
it hit me in some good ways, man. We're gonna get into it. Jesus, that was a good movie.
Okay. So you're saying
I don't think,
8.9 probably gonna go up.
yeah.
All right.
Drew, I don't think he hasn't given his while you stepped away.
No. I was still listening to you guys, but it was
Oh, you can still hear us. Okay, I
yeah,
wasn't sure.
it was getting a little funky, but I think it was just the video and not the audio. Drew, how about you?
Funny enough, I also was going to say 8.9. Um, for a lot of the same reasons. I think for me, the main thing is that I think that ultimately, yeah, it's a superhero movie, but it's really just kind of a story about Peter trying to find his place in the world through fantastical means. The world is changing. He's changing. Um, New York is kind of the one thing that seems to be staying the same, which I really loved the emphasis on New York in this.
Yeah.
I thought that it like kind of it gave it New York had kind of its own identity, and also like its identity was very intertwined with Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
in this. And if there is any character who needs to be like a New Yorker, um, it's him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really liked how they did that. Just it is a it's a character it's like a character-based story about a character-driven story about a kid trying to figure out what he does next after suffering some losses and trying to put his life back together. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm into. It also just happens to have ninjas for him to fight.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also happen to relate heavily to trying to figure out my life, and I'm not fresh out of high school. I'm 30.
Yeah.
I'm like, Peter, I'm with you, man.
So I'm struggling with my score of this because I am a fan, but I'm also like self-aware enough to know like who like why am I thinking the way it is? I'm constantly like, why do I like something? Why do I not like something? What is it missing?
Mhm.
Whatever. I was gonna give it an 8, but I don't think that's fair to the movie. And it's not. Some of my conceptions are not fair to the movie. I would say an 8.5, and I think when I see it on the second time, it's gonna go up. But I think I'm gonna be the contrarian in this podcast. Not the contrarian, but the
That's fine.
whatever.
That's discussion.
But that being said, we're all really pretty high. But it's funny that an 8.5 is gonna be I'm gonna be the person throwing out some takes. So I think it's 8.5. I think it's gonna go up when I watch it the second time, and that is solely because when I watch it the second time, me waiting for that reveal that I was trying not to have happen. This is a hot take. I did not want that character there. That's me. But I'm not the director, I'm not the producer, I'm not the person like doing that. So I have to think to myself, if that is the case, did they pull it off how they needed to, right? Like once they made that decision to have that character be that character. And again, there's going to be spoilers throughout this whole episode. So hopefully, people out there are going out.
We're
and
being
watching this
light
movie.
right now, but the further we get in and you're still here, hey man,
Yeah.
you stayed.
You want to know the scores? This is like my spoiler free. So 8.5. I think now that if I watch it the second time, I know who the character is. I've accepted that. I can kind of watch it with this idea of like, how is it flowing with that decision already being made, right? Can't change time. I think it's going to go up. I think there are like beautiful, beautiful things. Also, I saw it in 3D and just because it was the only available option, I don't think I should have seen it in 3D. Because there were some things I couldn't tell if they were blurry because they were blurry, like they were filmed that way, or whether it was whatever. So 8.5, probably going to go up. And I'm going to see it again. I'll probably see it in Dolby. I'll probably take my mom.
Nice.
And so like, okay, So that's our summations. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of it all.
Or do we have to like spoilers ahead?
I
I
mean,
I
yeah.
I do want to appreciate that you brought up the like I'm scoring at this, but then like you take into account you had certain expectations or hopes because I've seen some people also like that's the conversation that we do need to have. Is just like, of course, the movie can't come out everything we expected it to be. So like let's remember to we can talk about those things, but also like judge it for what we got. So
Mhm.
like fair, absolutely fair.
I think some
Um,
people like to tackle movie reviews as if they are personally hurt. They weren't tapped to be the screenwriter.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wasn't tapped to be the screenwriter. Maybe one day, but not today. And they're not doing the decisions. And even the screenwriter has to. They're given certain things that they got to get done. Like they're, you know what I mean? So who knows if the screenwriter had any say in any of this stuff, right? So the point being is like I have to take it as they made their decisions. Did they accomplish what they needed to accomplish to the utmost, right? Did they
Mm.
do a good movie? Do they set things up correctly and hopefully pull it off? My idea for Spider-Man No Way Home, my originally like if I created it before it even came out, was completely different and more like down to earth. So I didn't exactly like the multiverse angle until I saw it, and then I was like, I love all these Spider-Man coming together, but it wasn't exactly like my choice of where to go after Mysterio. But again, I'm not
Mhm.
writing it, so it's not up to me. And I do have
And
to
it's the whole
say,
MCU fit. It's the MCU
yeah,
fitting as well.
I do have to say, going into this one, but like No Way Home, um, has a lot more plot holes that make no sense. That's all I gotta say. There's a lot of plot holes that really make no sense in No Way Home, but I love it as a spectacle. But that's that. Brand new day.
I was about to say, he was saying spoilers,
Yeah.
spoiler, because now we're just gonna start talking about the film and
Yeah.
everything. You guys know how we feel, scores. Well, there was I think kind of like a first tackle topic or whatever you wanted to kind of hit
Yeah.
after the scores.
Well, okay, so we went over our scores and went over our first kind of couple things, but basically we all seem to be grading it very favorably. Um I mean, we could just talk about the things that we like. I don't know. It's really anyone's game here. Um I'm writing down notes as we speak, but let's talk about the beginning where Peter Parker is in the beginning of the movie, right? We see like 4 years of Peter being alone. May has died in the previous movie. He is alone. He is fighting villains that some of which we only see 15 seconds of, right? Some lucky few, like Tombstone, get an actual like lines and dialogue and one moment to shine, and then that's it, unfortunately. But there are 4 years of stories that we just see glimpses of. Peter is in a new place with his life, right? We see him watching Ned and MJ from afar. He is renting an apartment. He is just being Spider-Man 24/7. I don't think I ever expected Peter to be Spider-Man 24/7 for 4 years. In Spider-Man 2, is it Spider-Man 2, the Raimi one, where he gives up being Spider-Man for just a little bit of time?
Yeah,
And then like
yeah, it's like a week.
and then Amazing Spider-Man 2, he gives up being Spider-Man for a very small amount of time.
Mm-mm.
In this, it's the
Yeah,
opposite. He's given
yeah,
up his
flipped it.
friends and everything to be Spider-Man 24/7 for 4 whole years. How'd you guys feel about this setup in this movie?
I said, Drew, you go, you go. I went first last one.
I mean, I don't have a lot to say. I thought it was good. I thought that montage was efficient. It got in, got out, told us what we needed to know, and then it was just like, hey, now your story is gonna start. And I liked that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, me, the this goes down to again, this is not on the movie, it's more on like the strategy. Man, I wish we didn't basically see like the entirety of the intro just through trailers and clips and
Mm,
marketing and here's this one, here's that one. Only because like the 15 seconds that we saw of some of these people was truly like the 1 second clip of Boomerang, of Tarantula, of Ramrod. It's like because like we the first trailer showed, Boomerang, Tarantula, cool. But then when we have like a clip of like Ramrod, super niche, interesting, but it's like you literally like gave us the single clip that was just him in the movie. It's just like, man. And to be fair, I guess it was to make sure that you didn't have any expectations. It's like, yeah, we showed you exactly what you were gonna see because this is all you're gonna see. So it could be either way with that. Um, you mentioned the Tombstone thing. I do wish Tombstone had a little bit more when they
I love
announced
the
that Tombstone
actor.
was going to be in it. Yeah, the actor is great. He voices him in the animated Spider-Man series, the Spider-Verse movies. And
Oh, does he?
yeah. So he actually voiced him in Into the Spider-Verse. So like that casting had some pull of like, okay, cool, he's gonna be in the movie. Um, so like I do like that he actually got some lines as opposed to like the other villains. Um, so yeah, it was a little bit quicker of a montage than I think I expected, or at least even down to the hand. I didn't think, and again, we're just fully talking about it. Didn't think the hand was a part of the intro montage at all either. Um, which to me, that is where a little nick on the movie comes from me. The hand being a part of the montage of villains he already took care of, then kind of lets you know, well, now we know why he's going to end up fighting them towards the end. It didn't happen exactly the way I thought it was, which is still cool, which maybe that was what they were going for. But yeah, it was just like whenever that happened, I was like, well, how does he fight them?
Yeah.
But intro was cool to just get in, show how he's been being Spider-Man, he's been getting after it, and it establishes that unhealthy relationship that he has gotten with the mask that I love that they threw all over. No one even knows who Peter Parker is, and he's still like, I'm not taking off this mask
Yeah.
for anyone, for anybody.
I think
I
I
like to
think
feel like the mask is more of a protection for himself. It's
that's yeah.
him protecting himself from the outside world in a way.
I definitely got that too, which is why I think a lot of the supporting characters in this make a lot of sense whenever you try to find the parallels between like what's going on with Peter. Because like yeah, he doesn't want to take his mask off, not necessarily because he's worried about his identity, which that is there. He says to I think
Officer
is it to
DeWolf?
Yelena?
Who?
Is it to Yelena where he says like,
Oh,
"Oh no,
Yelena?
I
Yeah.
can't take it off because people get hurt or something like last something like that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a protection for him that it's like if I take this mask off, then I'm letting people in, and then they're gonna get taken from me.
Mhm.
Because he's lost Ned, he's lost MJ, and in a more permanent way, he lost he lost Aunt May. Um, but uh then you compare that to like the Punisher who doesn't wear a mask but like he is not interested in getting to know anybody. uh
Mhm.
he's the mission and that's it. And he comes off abrasive and the way that the Punisher does. um but then there's also Sadie Sink's character, which I don't know if are we just saying it at this point?
So I mean, we are in spoiler territory. That being said, I feel like when let's wait on that only
Okay,
because I'm gonna rant a little bit and I don't want to get to that just yet.
sure,
He
sure,
said,
yeah.
once we're there, we're
Yeah,
there.
that's
But
Pandora's box. I mean, in many ways.
but
Uh,
yeah, and there's all these like moments where like obviously he's trying to convince himself that it's okay to reach out to people. He's watching Ned's videos. He goes to their party, right? He's even like he's talking to the detective, and I
yeah,
forgot her
Officer
name.
DeWolf,
The
Gene
Yeah,
wolf.
DeWolf.
Officer DeWolf. Yeah, he's talking to DeWolf, and he just kind of like is very matter of fact with her, and she's just like, you don't even know my kids' names. Uh,
Yeah,
we've
it's
been
Poppy.
talking, we've been talking for 4 years, and you don't know anything about me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so like I mean that establishes a very clear arc. I will say about the villains, since we brought that up, the villains in the montage. There was a part of me when they go to when it became clear that like Scorpion was getting broken out of the prison, I thought maybe the the plan was going to be to break out all of those villains, and then he was going to have to round them all up again at some point.
Do a little
And
Nightfall.
yeah, I thought it was going to be very similar to Nightfall. Maybe, they didn't do that for the sake of time, but that would have been a way to like bring back those characters that we saw very briefly,
Mhm.
have them kind of pay off a little bit more, give
Yeah.
somebody like Tombstone more screen time,
Yeah.
who like I would have liked to have seen more Tombstone. But uh also, use that as like that's how he's being kept out of the way, right? Because now New York as a whole is in peril.
True.
And
Hmm.
this, the villain can keep him from getting in the way because now he's got to go and like get all these other much more like dangerous villains back.
Yeah.
And
Destin, where's the director's cut? I'm
there,
sure there's
there's a
gotta
part of
be.
me that is kind of glad that that didn't happen because I felt like it was kind of a predictable thing to do. But at the same time, I do think that there's there's more than just a montage with those villains, then this would have been very fun.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think the beginning of the movie did exactly what I've always wanted a Spider-Man movie to do, which is the argument for Spider-Man villains is like a lot of his villains are like jobbers, right? They're not
Mm.
maniacal want to rule the world type people. And even if they are, some of them are really small potatoes, which is also talk. Yelena says small potatoes in this, but like a lot. So even I think from like the beginning of this, all these Spider-Man movies, people online have been talking, and I've been one of them, where it's like just start off the movie with a montage of Spider-Man beating up a bunch of random villains, and you get this idea that like his world is a little bit bigger, which we get in this movie a lot, which is great. His world is a little bit bigger. It shows how capable he is, and you get some like scenes that don't really need to affect the plot much because you can kind of plug and play. The Rhino doesn't have to have that much screen time. I would say Amazing Spider-Man 2 starting off with the Rhino was cool, except almost too much screen time. Like, what is the point of everything? I don't know. Anyway, the point being is
Mm.
pulled it off really well in this. It's exactly what I wanted. Part of my my upset with this is that like we got to see Tombstone, and I wish like he's such a cool character that they've been like doubling down on in the comics and in the cartoons as of the last like 10 years, where they're just like Tombstone is a story that we want to tell, comics,
Yeah.
animated stuff. And in this, we get a line, we get two lines, and I just wanted more. And I was like, this goes against what I wanted. A quick montage where nobody matters. I
Yeah.
thought I wanted that. And then I saw
I
Tombstone and I was like, I want more. Oh
Yeah,
damn it.
I just like seeing superheroes battle street level crime,
Yeah.
and so like crime bosses, and so that's like that was I thought that was exciting. Like, oh, we're gonna get to see some of that, and you don't really, but
Yeah. Um so we get these 4 years of him being sort of separated from everything. He's developed a relationship with Officer DeWolf to the point where like you'd see there's like real trust there. By the way, shout out to actress Liza Colon Zayas, right?
Hmm.
She was in The Bear, and a lot of people knew her as from The Bear. And then I'm sure she's a long and storied career, but like it's just something that fans like to do, and I'm kind of tired of this. Is when she was announced to be in this movie, people looked at her and then they just said, she's obviously Miles Morales' mom. That's literally because in their head, it's the only person that fits. And these fans are like not thinking outside the box and also not understanding that like Spider-Man has so many characters over his decades of whatever of stories that like okay, she's Officer
And
Jean DeWolf. Great.
and here's the real problem, man.
Yeah.
I saw some people still saying, "Man, I was holding my breath," and then she finally said her kid's name, and I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "What? You thought Officer Jean DeWolf's child was gonna be Miles Morales? Like, all right, bro. Like, what are we?" What are we? I get the MCU is its own universe. They've done spins on characters and stuff in general, but like people apparently were like legit holding out for like her son's name to be Miles. I was like, guys, can we let this hurt go? Like just every kid, people thought that the dude on the street was Miles Morales, first of all, too old. People thought he does sound like him though. I'll give in that
In
trailer
that trailer,
when he says, "Hey, Spider-Man," he sounds like what is animated
Shamik Moore.
Spider-Man's name? Shamik Moore. He did sound like him. Voice did sound similar. There was the kid that he saved from the car flying at him. People were like, maybe that's Miles. I'm like, guys, there was a kid in Ant-Man Quantumania who said, "You're Spider-Man, right?" That everyone thought that was my. I'm like, guys, can we just get beyond the Spider-Verse first and let this hurt go? Because you're right. People did. Some of my friends jumped immediately, said, she's clearly playing Rio Morales. And to be fair, I did worry that I got spoiled in the sense of who she would be, because we'll talk. There's another sector of this, but on the red carpet, she was getting interviewed, and um one of the questions asked her was like, "Oh, your character plays a detective." I was like, "Hold on, don't think that that was actually confirmed anywhere." So cool, I know she's playing a detective. But then she, in answering the question, was like, and she was like, "What energy does your character bring?" And she was like, "She brings very maternal energy." And I literally was like, "Okay, are y'all about to make it so that like Rio Morales is the detective?" Because why did she say she brings maternal energy? But I didn't expect the dynamic of like she and Spider-Man were legit just like working together when it came to crime. So I like the way that they did it, but I was worried because I was like, she's not Rio Morales.
Yeah.
And then when she said she brought maternal energy, I was like, okay, who's mom?
Yeah, I think that fans out there not only okay, because let's be honest, we're all getting older. The fact that we remember all these Spider-Man movies means that we were around back then, right? And there's young fans coming up that they're just like like trying to connect the dots with not enough information, and like that's part of their journey, I guess, and that's fair. But also like when they mentioned an Officer Morales in Daredevil season 2, I think Born Again season 2,
Oh my
or season
God,
1,
yeah.
people were like, "That's," and it's like, can a person just be named Morales? Like Morales. It's not like it's not some like crazy obscure last name. Like if somebody said DeWolf, under like if you said DeWolf anywhere in this franchise, sure, Gene DeWolf. Like you would just
Yeah.
that's just not a common last name. It's DeWolf. Um, but like Morales, come on, like
It didn't help that Sony kind of like really did some stuff with continuity, because his dad is always referred to as Jefferson Davis, but
yeah,
then in recent years he has switched to Officer Morales.
yeah,
Like he was Officer Davis in Into the Spider-Verse,
yeah.
but then in Across the Spider-Verse he's Officer Morales.
Is he?
So like yeah, because when Miles runs into him, he's like, "Officer Morales." He was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" He deepens his voice. But
Is he
yeah, it
really?
was.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that doesn't help the argument, because people are like, "Well, he goes by Officer Morales now." I'm like, "Well, this is why they should just kept him Davis." Because yeah, apparently in some continuities now he took Rio's last name, or maybe they hyphenate. I don't know.
Um, yeah. I mean, in the comics, it's different, but also, I don't know. We're neither here nor there. All I have to say is, I'm glad. I'm. I didn't think about Miles once in this movie, and I love Miles Morales, but I didn't think about him once, and I'm okay with that.
No, I agree. 1000%. I think the theories are great, but sometimes it goes too far.
The theories get wild. So I mean, let's talk theories. Okay. Did you guys going into this? You guys can hear me? Okay, because my internet's kind of weird. Oh
I can
wait,
can
there
you
you
hear
go.
us?
There you go. You guys are
Oh,
back.
okay.
Okay, that was on my fault. Um, let's open up this can of worms here. Uh, going into this movie, did you guys know who the secret person was?
Okay, sorry, I gotta interrupt you, Drew, because this is where I was gonna get mad. This is the
Yeah.
other red carpet thing.
Yeah.
Part of why this movie unfortunately did not get to hit for me, I think, is hard, is because it's World War Steve Lacy over here. Steve Lacy spoiled live on the red carpet that I was only watching to get content out of like interviews and questions or stuff about the carpet. And this man, after being asked a question and saying, without spoiling anything, who are you most looking forward to seeing? And this man goes, um, Gene, brother. I mean, and also, as someone who had friends who were at the premiere, they were streaming the carpet to the premiere audience.
That's
So
so,
he
yeah.
literally spoiled the entire freaking thing. Yeah, everyone theorized it, but it was just like, dude, there's
Don't
still
give him
like
an
a
out. Don't
difference.
give him an out. Don't say
Yeah,
most people theorize. No, like somebody hardcore saying the biggest spoiler of the movie. Because
it was so,
the movie's built that it's a mystery. Like the movie is built this way.
I'm so mad.
I didn't see that, but I heard he spoiled it, and I chose not to. And I'm gonna be honest, maybe an hour before I saw the movie, I was on Facebook and somebody posted a picture that I thought, and then of the spoiler of some spoiler, and I was like, that's generated. It could be. I'm going
It
in
could
fresh.
be anything.
That could be anything. I'm going fresh. So technically, I got spoiled an hour before by going on Facebook, and it is what it is. But that was my fault. But the Steve Lacy thing, um,
I was so angry.
I don't think that I don't think that man should be on red carpet anymore. Take him off. Is that a hot take? Is that a hot take? Don't drop
No,
spoilers on the red carpet.
yeah,
That's infuriating.
yeah. Sorry, Drew. I had to get that off. I was like,
No, you're good.
I didn't think he was going to ask about that because I didn't get to theorize. Like, I literally was about to make a video about like, hey, we still got one villain that we don't know. That man dropped that on the red carpet. I was in the middle of like typing notes about something Kevin Feige had just answered, and I was like, oh, cool, that's a good video idea. And that man said that joint. I was like,
Well, clearly
never.
he was talking about Gene DeWolf.
See, that was
No,
what
but
the
he
hope
follows it up
was.
with something, right? He said something after.
That was the problem. He said it. Valkyrie goes, "Is that a spoiler?" And he goes, "I mean, she's the villain, but," and we're like, "Oh my God,
Who?
get him off, get him
So
off the camera."
this was you said Steve Lacy who said that?
Yeah, so Steve Lacy is a music artist. He had a song on the movie. So
Okay.
he had to have like, and I don't remember, it's the song Oh Yeah, and I gotta remember when it played. Because people were like, how would he know? He's just an artist on the soundtrack. I was like, well, if he's an artist on the soundtrack, if the song has anything to do like with an interaction between her and Peter or her character, like it does make sense that he would know more of the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, why would like that had to be in your NDA? If Sadie Sink went on the whole press tour keeping it under wraps, if Tom Holland managed to not let it slip the entire time and you spoil it the day before the embargo is up, brother, get off the camera, get off the carpet. I don't know where his publicist was. That was a moment of, hey, you come on, get up, get come on, get off. You messing up our bag. He broke an NDA, like one of the biggest NDAs, I'm sure. He's gotta, I don't know what's gonna happen to him.
Yeah.
People were like, man, he gonna disappear. I don't think Marvel gonna do that to him, but
He's on the raft. He's in the raft.
that joint made me so mad,
that
man.
that pisses me off on behalf of others because I dodged that. I didn't see it, but I heard it was out there, and I was like, no, I'm dodging it. But um, did you guys? How do I put this? Did you guys go in thinking that Sadie Sink was going to be somebody specific? Did you guys have your theories or whatever?
I mean, I went in assuming I've been doing this long enough, like getting excited for a movie, going in and seeing it, right? And everybody's like theorizing. Same thing happens in comics. Um, I remember I remember like long time ago there was this speculation that this secretive character in in a Grant Morrison Batman series was actually the Joker like hiding, you know? And I just kept being like, nah, that's not him. That's not him. That's sure enough, it was him. So I've kind of gotten to the point where I've just realized that if a lot of people are saying something, it's probably going to be right. And
Yeah,
so
to an
uh,
extent.
I didn't want to know that that's who Sadie Sink was. Um, and you know, I hesitate to say the word no because nothing was confirmed for me. It was just like a lot of, yeah, that's probably who she is. And so yeah, I figured that was probably it. And you know, like they're she's doing like the talk shows and stuff like that. Everybody kept bringing up Jean Grey. I don't mean to burst people's bubble. Those talk shows are all scripted. They are told what to ask. So like
Yeah.
they kept bringing it up, and she'd be like, I don't know. And you know, they put it around other stuff. But when that happens, it's because they want you to have that in your mind so that you're like, who is she? And then you go see
Mhm.
it, and then sure enough, yeah, they were giving you
You feel like I knew it.
yeah, you were they were it's all psychology, marketing and psychology are the same thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't theorizing ahead of time at all. That's just not the kind of movie viewer that I am. I think that it does a disservice to the people who wrote it and the people who made the movie for you to try to guess what they're telling you ahead of time instead of just letting them tell it to you because like they're the ones who earned the right to do that.
Mm.
That's kind of my opinion on it.
Mhm.
Um, and so assumed she probably was going to be Jean Grey, but also recognized that there was a possibility that I was wrong
Yeah.
and that everybody was wrong. But I was not surprised at all when that was revealed. I was surprised that she was the villain.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
That
got thoughts about that, but yeah.
that was a big surprise for me. I was very surprised that she was the villain. I was like, Justin on his video, like I'm gonna see No Way Home soon. Here's what I think is going to be. I didn't see that until after I had already seen the movie,
Yeah.
but I was
Mhm.
with him, and then I thought the villain was Negative Man, uh,
Yeah.
Oh
Well, Mr.
yeah, yeah,
Negative.
Mr. Nate.
Mr.
Yeah,
Negative. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I had heard that theory too. Yeah.
I so how do I the reason I didn't think it was Jean Grey was because most people's theories just hinge on the fact that Sadie Sink was a redhead. Like that was it. But like there is, hot take. There's a disproportionate amount of redheads in comic books. And that's because red is just a color that you can color hair with. And like you need to make someone visually different. It's red. But like redheads in the real world, very small percentage. The idea that like she is this one redhead, which is Jean Grey. That being said, in the trailers, then okay, someone's body hopping. And then I'm like, that's not Jean Grey either. That's like Proteus from the X-Men. Like it's just like weird. There's like, and then I'm thinking, what Spider-Man villains can body hop? Nothing comes to mind. I'm like, okay, but then a redhead. So then maybe I was thinking, and I'm also in denial here, right? I'm like watching these trailers, being like, maybe it's a misdirect. We have a redheaded person, but maybe she's not the villain. The body hopping is someone different, or
Mhm.
the Spider-Man Lego sets had Mr. Negative in them, and I'm looking at them right now, and I'm probably gonna buy them. Mr. Negative was like quote unquote in the movie, but he's not. So Mr. Negative is in the Lego sets for the movie, and so is Tarantula as like a character, which is kind
Yeah.
of
Why was
cool.
Mr. Negative in the Lego set? What did they do that for?
There's a I'm looking at it right now, and there's a Lego set that has Tarantula, Mr. Negative, and Spider-Man on a prison transport, like the truck. Then they got a building set with Hulk, Scorpion, Tarantula, Boomerang, and Spider-Man.
Wonder if he was cut from the film. Wonder if he originally was supposed to be in it.
Maybe, and then they moved, because honestly you could do a lot of the same things, because in my head you could do a lot of the same things with Mr. Negative that you did with Jean Grey. Turn Hulk evil. He's essentially just turning people evil, right? Like, there could have been a bigger, different story that they did. So anyway, a lot of my time theorizing was also just in denial that the fact that, like, why would Jean Grey, of all people, of all mutants, why would a mutant be put into this movie, but also why that mutant in a weird way, and then be the villain, and like so many things didn't fit. And then lo and behold, that is who it is. And okay.
I was definitely surprised on the angle that they went with it, in that I believed that it was Jean Grey. I believed that it was the thing of, which this is where some predictability does come in. The true villain, and I feel like they could have done it a little better with this. The true villain being the Department of Damage Control.
Yeah.
Um, I assumed if Jean Grey was in the film, she was the one like trapped, and she was trying to get Spider-Man to discover that like Department of Damage Control had her captive. So like she looked like the bad guy, which is how it went. Funny enough, it would have been, not that this mattered, it would have been cool or interesting how they could have like really messed with people, is if Sadie Sink had been playing her sister, and then they had just had a whole other mystery actress be Jean. That would have been funny. Now that you're like really bringing it up, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was. I definitely believed Jean Grey was a part of it. Just that I definitely didn't think it would be. She was truly going to be front and center antagonist. I thought, and I do like the interesting way that they did like the limits on her powers and all that stuff, because I thought it was like she was locked up and she's figured out how to use her powers to get people crashing into stuff, breaking people out, this, because she's trying to get herself broken out. Um, they did create a bit of more emotionally drawing story for her with the route that they went.
Yeah.
Um, I just, again, I do understand where it's like, the route that you kind of went with it, and like making her like for real a villain and doing a lot
She
of terrible things.
she wasn't for real a villain. She was for real a villain. I kept watching it being like, okay, everybody's safe. Except one old man got hit by a car.
Yeah, that man got hit by the car. I said, God, okay, well, I was like, did she, because I knew she was like, she's got to be trying to rescue somebody or figure. I really thought she was trying to get herself out. And then when they started showing her like actually walking around, I was like, ah, well, damn. I was like,
I thought she
um,
was trying to destroy like a device that the department had.
yeah. I do wish it was a little more outright how bad the Department of Damage Control was. It did feel like they introduced Metzger. You definitely get the feeling of like, ulterior motive guy. Again, a little bit of spoiler. Once you see the hand is working for them, again, this is where like the marketing kind of really messed me, because I'm like, well, fuck, the first trailer, you showed Spidey fighting the hand. You're thinking, you see the montage and find out, oh, this already happened. So now you see him with the Department of Damage Control. You're like, oh, well, so this is how he ends up fighting them, because he's actually working for them and he'll figure out that they're the real villains. Granted, how that ended up happening was actually very different, still very cool. Um, but yeah, I just, the the Department of Damage Control definitely got to be in the forefront and then skirt by to the background for like majority of the film, and then pop back up and you're like, yeah, you guys are doing something off. But and that's where a little bit of like predictability comes in, and it is what it is. That doesn't detract from being a good time.
Yeah.
um but yeah, Jean Grey was an interesting pick, and how they went about it, very interesting. I am curious on some of the things that were cut. Like, a little bit more of the journey, especially like how did you decide to, come across the Hulk and use the Hulk to do things. Like, I would like to have seen more of that, but again, Maybe they weren't allowed to get to a 3-hour movie, but Destin Daniel Creighton, if you want to put out a director's cut, you know what I'm saying? I'll watch it. I would have watched that movie if it was over 3 hours.
It was pretty long as is, though, right?
2 hours, 25 minutes.
Is that the longest Spider-Man movie?
Mm-hmm.
It has to be, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
By the way, I just wanted to shout out Spider-Man breaks the record for preview night, which is Thursday, right? And it may break Avenger Endgame opening weekend record. Opening day preview yesterday with $168 million. It used to be Endgame that had that opening night record. And so, will Brand New Day take down Avengers Endgame's opening record of opening weekend?
If it breaks $1 billion in opening weekend, that's going to be insane.
Well, you can't break billion in opening weekend, but you can.
That's what Endgame did.
Endgame did $1 billion in opening.
Mm-hmm. Endgame did I don't know if it's 1.02 billion or 1.2 billion opening weekend.
No,
which is insane.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Worldwide.
Yeah,
not
worldwide,
domestic.
worldwide, yeah.
Global.
Okay,
so
all right.
Shout out to China, because it was apparently a lot of China really loved Endgame. It actually has surpassed Avatar in China for opening box office, which is
But then they
crazy.
released Avatar in China, and then they got more money that way, remember? Anyway.
Yeah.
We'll pay attention to those numbers. That's gonna be crazy. Yeah, Drew, do you have any thoughts about anything? I'm trying to think, like, where'd we leave off?
I got lots of thoughts. I think what we were talking about essentially was the use of Jean Grey.
Yeah.
And I think that I think it's a really bold choice to use Jean Grey. You could use a lot of other mutants who have kind of a checkered past, but to pick Jean Grey, who, like, I'm not an X-Men reader, so you would know better than I do, but I've never heard of Jean Grey having, like, a villainous side at all outside of Phoenix.
Yeah. This was like Brotherhood of Evil Mutants level terrorism.
But I really liked that use. I think, first off, I think that it, like I said, is pretty bold, because you're essentially inviting the entire audience to be like, hey, you got to trust us. Like, and it could have gone south. But I think when you really examine it from, like, a cultural context, right? The X-Men have always been, to varying degrees, like, this allegory for oppressed people, and for marginalized people. And in the world of the MCU, people don't really know what mutants are yet.
Yeah. And they didn't even say mutants in this, right?
Huh?
They didn't say mutants in this.
They did not say mutants.
They said evolving. They used a couple of other keywords. Yeah. But yeah.
And I think the only time we've heard mutant is in the Miss Marvel show.
Yeah.
They said the term mutation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And so we don't know. I mean, the world doesn't know what mutants are, but we as the audience know that Jean Grey, young person. I mean, I'm assuming that she's supposed to be a teenager in the context of the film. Young people are very angry at the institutions surrounding them right now. A lot of, the kids who are plugged in, right, who are watching the news and, paying attention to what's going on. They don't like the government. And so I think that she played the role that Jean Grey in this played the role of, like, this disillusioned, radicalized child who feels desperate enough to, like, essentially, do what she's got to do to get her sister back.
Yeah. and put people in danger. You
put
know?
people in danger because she hasn't learned, because she hasn't been taught by Professor X yet, right? She has not learned
Yeah.
how to be like
Better.
yeah, essentially,
Use her
you
powers
know,
responsibly, that sort of thing. Also,
she
the fact she's on her own. Like the idea that mutants are better in a group, a community, they're stronger together, right?
yeah. And I think there's other stuff too that like the movie doesn't tell you, but like you could kind of, if you took the time to think about it, you could see like what would, if Jean Grey, if Jean Grey is like, I don't know, 17, maybe 18 in this, like she's young.
Yeah.
She's got to be. Then that means how much of her childhood was like put on hold, her formative years put on hold because of the snap. How much of like how much of that does she remember and how does it affect younger people going in? So I think that there's like kind of the film, by picking Jean Grey, invites the audience to sort of extrapolate and draw inferences about the world in which it takes place without beating you over the head of it and without decentering Spider-Man as like this is the character. But we get like what I was saying earlier is that all of the characters in this in some way kind of mirror Spider-Man's motivations and Spider-Man's goals, and what, you know, his journey. Um, and I think it's, you know, there's an argument that Jean Grey is kind of like, if Spider-Man had the exact same trajectory, right? This Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man, where he became a hero and the whole world, you know, knew who he was and all this stuff, but he never had Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man to like keep him on the straight and narrow. Maybe there's a part of him that turns villainous because he had everything taken away from him, and
Yeah.
you know, maybe and then it comes back to it's the guidance that saves everybody, the guidance that puts her on the right path. It wasn't, she jumps into Spider-Man's mind, she doesn't see Robert Downey Jr., she sees Aunt May
Which is good.
telling
I'm
her that,
glad. I'm glad they did that.
yeah, yeah, reminding her, you know, reminding Peter, but by proxy her, uh to uh you know, to you got this power, you got to have that responsibility.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um. Yeah. I again, where I say like I don't know why. I'm a little confused on why she was picked to be the villain. Because I also thought that like maybe she was in the movie and Sadie Sink was playing her, but Mr. Negative turned her bad. Like I thought they were hiding Mr. Negative,
Mhm.
and then until they didn't, and then I was like, okay, fine, let's see where this goes, right?
The Lego set thing really makes me feel like he must have was supposed to be in the movie, which Tom Holland was saying there was a version of the movie that apparently they scrapped. So
Yeah, until they realized they needed to put Jean Grey in probably. But here's also the thing: is they must have known they must have a reason why they're setting up young Jean Grey before Doomsday sets up the other Fox X-Men without Jean Grey.
well, they're getting wiped out. Let's be
Right.
honest.
But the point being is, wouldn't you want to wipe out the old and then start with the new instead of introducing one character, then introducing old again, wiping them out, then coming at you?
Mm,
I don't know.
they
Like, why
brought they
now?
brought for
Why now?
we're about to see Professor X die for like the 15th time. I don't
We're
think
about
there's
to
a
say
rhyme or
goodbye to the
reason.
X-Men for the 15th time. It's always a sad farewell, and then it's like you brought Hugh Jackman back again. Like,
I mean, we literally watched Patrick Stewart be off that 5 other times. So like, I don't feel like there's a rhyme or reason behind that.
yeah,
I think, because to be fair, actually, caveat, Doomsday was not a thing when this movie was planned.
yeah, but this
Kang
movie obviously
Dynasty,
can change,
no,
like with Mr. Negative.
I know, I understand that, but I just feel like it could. Well, that's true. They might have.
They shift
I
things
don't know
all
the
the
rhyme
time.
or I don't know the rhyme or reason behind that, because that is a fair point. It's just like you're introducing, and to be fair, they've also been teasing, to Drew's point, mutants since Miss Marvel. We got the X-Men 97 theme played in the very ending, at
Yeah.
the end of Miss Marvel. And we've been like, all right, cool. So when are we getting into mutants? Wonder Man also edges into talking about mutants. That's a whole other thing right now.
Yeah.
And
R.I.P. Wonder Man. I'll say that because we don't have
Dude,
time to get into it.
don't get me started.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, this movie, I think, made sense to deal with mutants because it drew from the, again, 90s cartoon where his powers go through a mutation and he literally does visit the X-Men. And I think that's where the connection and the draw was, as far as like how they picked, and again, like the body hopping. It's interesting on how they might have shifted why
Yeah.
Jean Grey's motivations were what they were. But Jean, I think, made sense in that it tackled the mental aspect. I know that a lot of people's theories, and it's still kind of unanswered, do her powers have some kind of contribution to weakening or breaking Doctor Strange's spell? That is a potential reasoning on why they picked Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Because essentially, remember, the first time she hopped into his head, she learns he's Peter Parker. So she becomes the first person to know you're Peter Parker.
Who does she hop into? Into Peter's head, and then she learns it.
The first time she tries to hop in his head and he pushes her back out, but she's in there long enough to know he's Peter Parker. You had your friend's memory wiped. So like, even though she didn't know him prior to the spell, obviously, she's the person to unlock like Peter Parker's existence in the world.
Yeah.
And so that is where I think her usage was for. I think that they made it a little more subtle on her contributions to that, and that's why it's still kind of unanswered at the end of the movie on like, did are people starting to remember? Did her being in everyone's head have any kind of effects like that? To be fair, they play with it a lot in general though, because he also admits his name to the Hulk. He actually doesn't say Dr. Banner. He's like, Hulk, my name's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I'm your friend. And that seems to kind of get through a little bit. And also, actually, Jean had just been in the Hulk's mind.
Yeah.
So, like, they have this subtle nod as if, like, I think that's why Jean was picked, was because they needed a telepath to deal with the mind aspect.
You could have
But
done
again,
that with Mr. Negative. It's comics, right? Like he turns people, he turns them back, and now they know they like the spell is broken. I don't know.
I really thought that they were gonna address that head on, where at the end, first off, I there were a couple of things. I thought that at some point, like, to get Spider-Man to help break her out, or help her in some way. I thought that she was gonna dangle, I can just go in and like fix MJ's mind,
Yeah.
and she'll remember you. And so then it would put him in a position of like, do I want to be the good guy or do I want to get what I want? Which maybe would have been like too hard of a decision, like for this movie, because it would have been doing a lot.
Yeah. This movie was already doing
maybe
so much.
maybe I thought that like at the end, after he does help her take down damage control, that she would just kind of be like, hey, I'm gonna do something for you, and like restore MJ's mind. I really thought that that's maybe like where they were gonna go with that, and to a degree, I'm actually kind of glad that they didn't. I like that because obviously it's the implication is that the bond of friendship that Peter had with Ned is so strong that it's just innate and is able to break through the spell, because they do the handshake and he's going through the motions of the handshake and he's confused about why he knows it, and then suddenly he remembers Peter, and that's the end of the film.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the idea that the power of friendship is stronger than the power of magic, so much more than her just kind of going in and essentially performing a reverse lobotomy. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I like that. Yeah. I also it just gets way complicated when there's magic and mutations involved. Like there's all these, and it's like, okay, all right, that's fine. That's where we're at now, right? There's like magic, science, gods, everything, right? Okay.
I remember the day and age when Thor first came around and they were like, "Oh, that's not magic's not a thing, that's science." And he was just like, "Ah, I mean, they're kind of the same when you really think about it."
Well, and he's not a god, he's an alien.
Right. And so now, um, to your point, I mean, it's comic books, comic media, we are getting incredibly convoluted. I do wonder how much of it all is encompassing. One of my friends talked about um with to Drew's point about Ned. Ned, when you think about it, is the actual key to discovering Peter Parker,
Mm-hmm.
not only because of his affinity to magic, like how he had the Doctor Strange ring, but when you think about who stood to actually lose the most in losing Peter Parker, he has literal childhood memories where he remembers sitting and playing video games with a friend, and he looks back and he's like, no one was there. He was building
Yeah.
Legos with a friend, no one was there. And so that handshake coming back to him is like, dude, I remember having this handshake, but like I guess I just did it with my imaginary friend growing up. So I keep saying that I feel like the ending of this film had a Christopher Nolan ending in that it's left up to interpretation. Yes, he's got the muscle memory from the handshake, but is the Peter because he heard MJ call Spider-Man Peter? Is it that he's remembering he had a best friend named Peter? Is it both? Is it all of it hitting at once like this is why I was so cool with Spider-Man. This is why I remember Spider-Man saving me a bunch. This is why when we were hanging out building Legos with the mask on, he was so cool. You're the best friend that I couldn't remember. You know what I mean? It could be all of it.
I'll tell you what, if this is too much of a downer for what they want to do in the MCU, but if they were gutsy, the spell would have been like, let's say let's say Peter just outright comes out and says, "Hey MJ, my name's Peter Parker. We used to date each other." She remembers it for a second, and then the spell takes hold, and she just immediately forgets all over again. So it's like a never-ending thing of like
That would
anybody
hurt.
who knows who you are is going to forget you until the spell is broken. Uh,
Yeah. Um.
I think that would be a bummer,
Yeah.
but it would. I
That
think
would
it would.
be what's the there's a film that's like that. Not Groundhog Day. Maybe it is Groundhog Day where it's just like it's just gonna keep happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that. That's a good concept.
I,
Um.
but yeah, they would never do that because you got to have the happy ending. You got to
Right.
have
But
the,
also, they're trying to get back to normal again, right? Like after all these big things, they're trying to. I don't know. I think that the next.
yeah, and I will say to that point too. The moment in this movie when Jean takes over MJ, and you think that like the kiss broke the spell and
Yeah.
all that stuff. There was a part of me that was kind of like, this is a sweet moment, but like, damn it, it would have hit harder if it was like, if it took 3 movies for her to remember that
We don't
that's
got this time, man.
yeah.
That's my biggest thing is like after this movie was over, I would love the ending of this movie so much better knowing that there's a Spider-Man movie coming next. Like I don't want Doomsday. I'm going to see it and I'm probably going to love it. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, sure. I just don't think it's necessary. These characters that we love, like let's get these Spider-Man movies cracking like every 2 years. Like what? Like stop delaying it. This is very much like the comics where like a story run will go, but then there'll be a big old crossover event. Story like that line has to like be on pause. That writer will still write that character, but they got to do a tie-in story. Then they got to come back to what they had
Yeah.
originally planned. And it's like, but in this, it's so much more delayed. We're probably not going to get another Spider-Man movie for like 4 years. Please tell
It
me.
has been 5 years since No Way Home. When you really put it that way, it's
Yeah.
been 5 years since No Way Home.
Also, I just want to point out, and this is sometimes them looking towards the future after these big crossover events. Um, I just want to point out that in our year 2018, Infinity War came out. Then in our year 2019, Endgame came out, but it was taking place in 2018, and then going 5 years later to 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So that was still 2019 in our years, right? So then all the post Endgame content were technically in the future. In the Marvel MCU year 2024, that's the year No Way Home takes place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that was, but No Way Home came out in 2021, 2022 in our years.
I can't remember.
So it's still
21
ahead.
sounds right.
2021.
Yeah, so it's still ahead, right? Now it's 4 years later. Brand New Day takes place in the MCU year 2028.
Yeah.
4 years. So the idea is they'll eventually catch up, but they must. If we're in 2026 right now, it obviously takes place in 2028 because they're probably like, the next movie is not going to come out before our year 2028. So
yeah, because Secret Wars is 2028.
So it's like, okay, I'm okay with
2027.
I better get another Spider-Man movie in 2028. Like the idea that we're waiting this long for another Spider-Man movie. Like these stories, it's not just seeing Spider-Man appear in other things. Like I know we all love it when Spider-Man's like fighting Chitauri. Like great. But like his storylines, his character development, MJ, Ned, all that stuff, like that is a Spider-Man story. Jean DeWolf. I want to see their relationship more. You know what I mean?
I'm about to say this is my first time really getting heavily acquainted with Jean DeWolf. It was really cool seeing like her on screen, how she interacts with Spider-Man. It was cool seeing him have again kind of going into the relationship with like the video games. It was giving that relationship that he had with Yuri Watanabe.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's got someone close in the police. The way that she was still even like, maybe take some time for yourself. Like you've been having headaches, hadn't you?
Yeah.
Did you been taking that medicine I told you to do? Like I loved her in this movie almost as much as we have not even talked about it. Best part of the movie, I need John Bernthal and Tom Holland to just keep doing projects together. I need them to be the next duo. They were just in the Odyssey. Obviously not a ton, but even the little bit that they were there, loved their dynamic, loved them in this movie. And you can just feel, you just can't help but smile knowing that they were working on a movie together when they auditioned for their Marvel roles and they read for each other for these Marvel roles. John Bernthal's the reason that Tom Holland did a backflip in his audition.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I
like,
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so he was like, he's like, what other, like, I don't know if you, maybe it was just like a thing of like, you said you could do a backflip, right? Or you said you gymnastics or all that. He was like, dude, like, he was like, I don't think I should. I was thinking about doing a backflip for the audition. And John was like, dude, do it. And it was like, what I think helped. I mean, it might have been other things, but people always said that like Tom Holland got the role, like with his youth, with his energy, with what he brought to that audition. Like he just did stuff that like nobody else was really thinking about doing. I think he walked in the frame, cut a backflip, and then like read, like as if he'd like superhero landed and then like read lines.
Yeah.
And you could just, their energy was just great on the screen. I want to see more Spider-Man Punisher. I want to just see more of the two of them together.
I definitely think their team up gives me more than, let's just say, Daredevil and Punisher teaming up again. Like Daredevil and Punisher, I'm okay with Daredevil and Punisher not teaming up again. I know that they do, but like
I agree.
I'm okay with it. Like it's just I shall kill, don't kill, you can't take God's power away from him. Only God can kill. No, I am God. And like it's like come on. Like God, I don't know. Spider-Man and Punisher were cool, but like Drew, did you have anything to say about this essentially PG-13 version of Punisher? Which
Dude, I mean, one of my biggest surprises was that the Punisher never feels watered down in this.
I agree.
Like it's and it's crazy because like you don't see him killing anybody throughout this. He's not like
he's trying.
For sure
he tries every step of the way. He tries.
They do, like there's a couple scenes where they really kind of remind you that like that's what the Punisher does. And I think that if you really would have put this under a microscope, I do think it's kind of weird that
Peter's okay with him,
that Peter has a relationship with him at all. right? Because there is a part of me that thinks that Peter would just be like, dude, like, no, I'm arresting you. Like,
Yeah.
what, but, but, all that aside, I mean, everything works. It works really well. I was surprised at, I know it's a PG-13 movie and you can get there's a lot of profanity you can use, but they don't usually do that in these movies. And I was very surprised at how much they let Punisher curse and uh,
To the extent
um,
that he could, right?
to the extent he could, yeah. And yeah, I mean, it never, for the most part, all he's doing is talking. There's
Mm.
he has one action scene at the beginning when he's introduced, and then he has like his um the big climactic finale where he shoots Peter. Um,
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, that I will say, and I need to really talk about this more. I was very shocked. Yes, Punisher is the like do what you got to do. I was shocked that he was willing to for a kid because his whole thing is he's always had a soft spot
I I
for
did
children.
yeah, I did also
Also,
I
I would like to say that I'm willing to bet she's older than 18. Like her character. I don't think she's younger than 18. Maybe the Punisher is like, look, she's 19. Cool. Punisher has probably killed a lot of 19-year-olds. Come on.
That's also fair.
he's
So,
He calls Peter a kid too, though. That's what I
yeah,
mean. It's just like and then him having a daughter. Like I was very shocked that he was like,
but
"I'm gonna do it my way."
I also think that I also think that this Punisher recognizes that like power is the addition of power changes that for him. Like a
Mm,
regular human kid, probably not, but
mm,
um,
true.
because to him, I mean, she was just a weapon. That's it. That's all she was. She was a weapon that was like wearing the body of a person.
yeah.
True.
And so I
He didn't
don't,
see a person there. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't really see like I get that point and I even thought about that when I was watching it as well, but I don't think that they really gave us any reason to think that he would empathize with her at all. And I really thought I thought Spider-Man was dead. Like really actually thought, oh, they actually killed him for this movie.
You
Um,
thought that? I
for a
didn't.
second, for a split second.
Well, I got a flashback to Ultimate Marvel back in the day where Punisher uh doesn't um Punisher shoots Peter in Ultimate Marvel on the bridge. And Peter dies two ways. There's in Ultimate Marvel, the original one, Peter gets shot by the Punisher, but he lives, and then he dies with the Green Goblin, right? Is that what it was?
I have never read Ultimate
Oh.
Spider-Man.
So yeah, I mean back in the day, it kind of mirrored that. There was a lot of things in this movie that mirrored different things. Jay brought up like the
Mhm.
Insomniac game. There's a lot of
Mhm.
Insomniac stuff. But then also the animated series, just the way this world was like lived in, and maybe that's just because it's more lived in and it's not necessarily the animated series. But even Punisher was like the animated series type Punisher, where it's just like he's not
He
gonna
was trying to
actually get
kill
a shot
Spider-Man
off.
in that.
Was
Yeah.
that?
He was trying in the '90s show. He was trying to kill Spider-Man too.
Yeah, like,
He was
but
hired.
you would never see him kill anyone, right? Like,
Yeah, you wouldn't see it.
so it's like this PG-13ified Punisher sort of thing. And then I also think that his Spider-Man was seeming a lot like Andrew Garfield, like
Oh,
his quips.
he absolutely studied Andrew Garfield for this film. I don't know if you guys picked up on this is the most New York he's ever sounded.
Yep.
Um, him cracking the jokes, him just really living in the mask. I was like, yeah, you sat and watched TASM 1 and 2 for this movie.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot really to take in from this film, and I think
there's.
to
I mean,
Drew's
I'm
point,
writing notes, and we're not gonna get to everything. It's just like there's so much going on. Um, the hand is weird because we see the opening thing of him finding the hand, and then later it's just said that like there are a bunch of kids that are the hand, and they just need direction, and that's what Metzger says, right? Like they're supposed to be like youngsters.
I don't remember him saying kids.
He
I
says
remember
something. They're like the youth just need a direction or something like that.
He said they're just a bunch of kids who lost their way, apparently.
Yeah.
Like I think they're like Peter, they're young adults, but his
stretching
point is that,
yeah.
like his point is like they're just a bunch of kids who lost their way or whatever, and we just need to show them the way. And it was just like, huh?
Yeah, so
Uh,
it didn't even seem like the hand. Also, I'm not an expert of Chinese versus Japanese, okay? But the hand is specifically Japanese, at least in Daredevil and in the comics and everything. But this seemed very Chinese inspired, and I could be wrong. I'm looking, and maybe I'm also getting a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon sort of feel from the acrobatics and everything. And I don't know. I don't know what was going on with the hand. I think the hand was a weird inclusion in this movie, and I think that maybe that could have been a holdover from Mr. Negative. That maybe they might have gone for a more the same fight scene could have been Mr. Negative and his like Oni. No, they weren't Oni, I don't think, because
demons. They're called the
the
demons.
demons. Yeah. So
But
like
to your point, like it still would have been a better draw. This is where like I do wonder if Mr. Negative was originally in the film, because then the inclusion of the hand makes a little more sense because they don't have leadership right now based off of
yeah.
Daredevil. I think they're kind of maybe coming back in season 3 of Daredevil. Um, it's interesting how Spider-Man movies end up within the MCU because they are constantly fighting this like bridge of like being a Spider-Man movie, but making sure all of the tie-ins from all around the MCU also fit.
Yeah.
And it could just be a suffering from that.
Yeah. I mean, those are cool fight scenes.
Man, I mean, Jackie Chan stunt team
Was it Jackie Chan
put
stunt
them.
team?
Yeah, so if you ever wondered why Shang-Chi felt like Rush Hour but in the MCU, it's because that was Jackie Chan's stunt team for that film. Destin Daniel Cretton used them for Shang-Chi and then has also used them again for Spider-Man Brand New Day. And you can, I mean, you can feel it. They know what they are doing. And yeah, I think that this had some of the most immersive action that we've seen in the MCU in a good little bit.
Yeah. Also, Destin Daniel Cretton, his shots are amazing in this.
The both of the things that you guys are saying is something that stuck with me the most, and it's really what like sent this movie over the edge of just being like, there's a part of it's like this is a good superhero movie, and then the actual like care and attention put it into, no, this is just a good movie. um like I think the action and the fight sequences in this are some of the best of the MCU. I would maybe even say they are the best of the MCU. Before that, I would say Shang-Chi, but it feels like he kind of he took what he learned from Shang-Chi and now he's just leveling that up.
Yeah.
Um, and I did not know that they were the same director until like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I mean, one of the things that really just bothers me about, and bothers a lot of people about the Marvel franchise as a whole, is that outside of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, they don't ever let the directors have an identity. It's all just
Mm-hmm.
like they have to look like the same thing over and over and over again to give the familiarity, give the audience that familiarity so you know what you're getting. Um, and I'm not even the biggest fan of that Doctor Strange movie, but at least it felt like a Sam Raimi movie
Mm-hmm.
at a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna push back against what you're saying. I think that like Eternals was very clearly Chloe Zhao.
so that's the one MCU movie I've never seen.
But I also think that Destin Daniel Cretton on Shang-Chi seemed like a different type of movie. But that's where people might not want it. That's the problem. Like any movie that people are like, I didn't really like it. it's a lot of the time it's because they have their own identities.
Yeah, people are stupid, so that tracks. But
I
Yeah.
agree with you.
I have a really bad problem. I don't and this is gonna I'm not gonna get into the story of why because that'll take us elsewhere. I don't remember watching Shang-Chi because when I did see it, a person was literally trying to murder me, so I didn't pay attention to that movie. I was thinking about how I wasn't gonna get murdered.
I yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. We don't have time on the show
I
to
have
do
lore.
all
I
that.
have lore to dive in deep with you. To be fair, no, you're going through something incredibly personal. It's like I'm at this movie right now and I'm not thinking about anything happening. That happened to me with I had to go see Thunderbolts again. I was going through too much when I saw Thunderbolts, and for
Yeah.
Thunderbolts to be the movie that it was, I was like, I'm not mentally in a good place to be watching this.
Yeah. And
Um,
so I remember literally nothing of Shang-Chi except I remember literally nothing of Shang-Chi. I remember Fin Fang Foom was in it.
No,
But
he's
yeah, I mean,
well, kind
so
of.
I think that I think this movie looks great. I think it's some of the best like cinematography and the best like just overall decision of what kind of shot to use. The rig where they, get to put it on his eye is a cool effect.
Yeah.
Looks really great. The fact that they allowed it to, like, they used it in a very deliberate storytelling way, I thought was really cool. Um, the there's a shot, a series of shots, it's like a couple of them back to back that really like stuck with me as I was watching the film. And I teach film classes, so my brain is kind of wired to kind of think about things this way. So I don't know if other people noticed, but like there's a great bit Peter is running into an alley and then it cuts, and when it cuts away he swings out of the alley as Spider-Man, and when he's running into that alley everything is handheld, so it's all like jangly, and then
mhm.
whenever it does the cut and he comes back it's totally still and just following him, so you get you impress upon the audience like this feeling of he's not sure of himself, now he's Spider-Man, he's
Yeah,
confident.
it's
And
very deliberate, like you said.
I love stuff like that. Like the use of like the camera is there to tell the story and like not just not just deliver the story, but to tell the story. And I got a lot of that from this. And man, can I tell you one of my favorite things
No,
that this movie did?
no,
Okay, I can't.
I'm just kidding.
My one of my favorite things this movie did sounds so simple, but man, it works so well. Is like when the ending credits start and it's just shots of New York,
It's beautiful.
just these really awesome like they had to have used different cameras for it because it looks different than the
It was
rest of the
like
movie.
very different vibe, a little
Yeah.
almost filmic look.
It's a super like it's almost like documentary style of like just B-roll of New York. But it really solidifies like what New York means to this movie, what it means to Spider-Man, what Spider-Man means to it. And it's awesome. And it's so simple. And it's like something that's so simple you other people would have overlooked it. Other people would have not thought to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, I loved that. I thought it was great. I'm there's really nothing, there's no mid-credit sequence, and there's barely an end credits one.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that I kind of thought there was going to be a mid-credit sequence because I sat and watched that and it just looked great.
What's also cool,
Great,
the
great
in
shots,
yeah,
like that one
yeah.
where
Um
he's sitting on the beam.
oh, the sitting on the beam with the city upside down above him
Oh
Yeah.
gave
man,
me
Oh, that one
Inception
was
vibes
fire. That
also.
was so
Like
fire.
it's
there's not just that, but like one of the things I've also really loved about this one and about the MCU Spider-Man movies as a whole is that they keep coming up with like things that Spider-Man can do that other people can't. And that's why like when you have a superpowered character, you want to find as many creative ways to use their powers, but
yeah,
also put them in situations where like only their powers are going to be the solution, right?
yeah.
And so like there's that bit when he's fighting the hand at the Department of Damage Control. They do there's the really cool shot of where he
Oh,
flips
they
and the
flip
camera
the
flips
camera.
around him, and it's like just little stuff like that. And the way that he like when he swings into frame and he has his web behind him and he used that to pull people out of the way. Just
Yeah.
like stuff like that. It just looks so cool, but it's also just creative ways of like personalizing the action around Spider-Man and like what he can do. And like because of that, it doesn't ever feel interchangeable with another character. This is a Spider-Man movie. It's not a movie that just happens to have Spider-Man in it.
Yeah. I mean, all the amazing things about this movie, I think,
I
add.
would say they're spectacular.
Yeah, it adds.
Amazing.
um, it adds to the idea that I almost just wish they didn't have Jean Grey in this. Not just because I'm an X-Men fan and all that. I just think it detracts. Like, there's so much in this movie. If you take Jean Grey out, there's just still so much in this movie.
Yeah, but I think that Jean Grey is I think you could have done it with another character. Like it didn't have to be Jean Grey, but like I like that they used Jean Grey, but her character, like no matter who what she's called or who she is, um, I think really uh connects like that's the connective tissue for all the themes that they set up.
Yeah,
And so I like that it's Jean Grey because it is somebody familiar and it does like it allows you to bring a different history to it while also kind of turning that history on its head, which is fun.
and
Um,
that's, by the way, the only reason I think that they brought this in is because maybe they wanted just a different interpretation of Jean Grey going forward, because she's very squeaky clean in the
well,
most recent Fox movies, and before that, Famke Janssen plays her as like a very smart intellectual doctor,
yeah,
and then when Sophie, whatever her name, what was it,
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner plays her, she's squeaky clean, and then they always go to Phoenix, and it's
But
like, okay,
also like but also I mean I think there's a lot of deliberate thought into why Jean Grey because like the first X-Men story, like the very first one, the Stanley Kirby X-Men #1 is Jean Grey showing up to the mansion
yeah,
and like she's learning who the X-Men are and why she was picked to, be a part of this school
mm,
and hey, we're going to get you the guidance that you need, all that stuff. So now you have a reason why she needs that because she has this dark side that can be, I mean, like it can be exploited if somebody wants to. It can also like grow and get out of control if nobody helps her keep it in check. So now you have a reason why she's got to go to Connecticut and be like part of the X-Men. And then
yeah,
you also have like just through that, um, you get to tell the audience, hey, we're gonna do a different X-Men than what you're used to.
yeah.
And we've had in terms of movies, like a few different X-Men series, and what
The
can you do with it that's different? Well, now they're telling us, yeah, they're gonna be a little more like
Gray.
disillusioned and
Right.
they're gonna be possibly very scary.
The scary part maybe factors into the fabric, right? The idea is that like these mutants are scary. Sure.
Yeah, and you have to raise the X-Men in a world that fears them. So now like you can see why people would.
Which is also why
Yeah.
the MCU has been steering away from telepaths. Um like something I noticed years ago is that like the MCU does not have telepaths.
Mm,
Yeah.
And the
cause
idea
yeah,
that the invasiveness of telepaths is a very mutant thing, at least in the MCU. Like you can't accidentally get telepathy in the MCU. Like
and yeah, there's no bite, there's no well, they were trying to make technology, but there's
yeah,
no, money technology that would give you that without a basis. There's no I can't think of how other radiation or
right.
whatever. No, nothing that's been established gives that. And actually, now that both of you bring that up, I think we're really getting to the answer. One, why it was Jean Grey. Two, how the question that we've all kind of had, which is like, in a world where superpower people have always been a thing, how do you get a world where people hate mutants? And to what you're
Yeah.
even saying, Dimitri, is like, well, how invasive a telepath is. That is even outside of the realm of how we have established superpower people. You were just born being able to freeze the entirety of Manhattan's bodies and minds, and you could honestly kill them if you just shut their brain off right
Right.
now. Like that is that is so foreign, even in the aspect of the superpowered world that they live in, that I think that it did,
And
like
it's
you just said, it plays into the fear. It's
And the
actually,
paranoia, right?
yeah,
yeah.
it plays into how people will sit and say, we love, well, he might not be around, but we love Captain America, we love Spider-Man, but get the mutants out of here.
Mutants are fucking
Like,
weird, dude.
Well, like, yeah,
um,
and that's always a thing that comes up in just in comics, in Marvel comics in general. It's just like there are all these characters that they'll celebrate Spider-Man, but they're essentially a prejudice against the against mutants, and it's like the only difference is one was born that way. So like how do you establish the stakes going forward that in this world where Thor has existed and the Hulk has existed and all of these people, like how do you put them into a story where they're going to be feared? Because if you don't have the prejudice aspect, you don't have the X-Men.
Right.
hmm,
But also, like, people bring this up all the time. Like, why do people like Spider-Man but hate mutants? And people are like, this is nonsensical. That wouldn't make any sense in real life. It's like, yeah, because racism is nonsensical in real life. Because
True,
like the idea that racism is a social thing, it's a
but
socio-political thing that is
yeah,
kind of like taught to you and like tweaked and manipulated and like everything in you. A big thing about the X-Men and the mutants in the comics and the stuff isn't so much because it's a baby version of racism where you're like, I just hate people who are different. But like Spider-Man's different, you don't hate him, right? It's not just that you hate people who are different, you hate people who are going to replace you. And
yeah.
replacement theory factors in with X-Men sociopolitics, right? Like
Mhm.
the idea that Magneto and his mutants think they're better and they say, we will replace you, that your grandkids will be mutants one day and you are obsolete. That is a very specific mutant thing that like Spider-Man doesn't go around saying that everybody's gonna have spider powers in 50 years. Like he, it's a very specific mutant thing. And so you add this paranoia, you add this replacement thing. It isn't even that mutants are more powerful than other heroes, because you do have gods like Thor that people aren't afraid of. You know?
yeah.
I'm very
And
excited for mutants. I'm excited for mutants coming to the MCU. I hope they do it in the right way after Secret Wars is over. Just like then, like let's start something new. And I think that's what they're gonna do. I think the next saga is mutants.
and the relationship going forward will be very interesting because Spider-Man in Brand New Day has given the exact thing for the villains against mutants with his technology.
So
Let's also not forget
let's
that.
talk about that, because I want to. Somebody brought up something online that I thought was crazy, and I did not put it together. And I'm wondering if you two put it together. So let's talk about this chip. So Peter makes the chip, then he makes it a universal chip, and perhaps the Department of Damage Control has that chip now, right? We don't know,
Mhm.
right? The one part,
Yeah.
the one part that blocked the chip when they were testing it is Spider-Man's magnetic lenses. I didn't realize this. Somebody online said it. The chips can be overwritten by magnetism.
Yeah, so Magneto.
Who? Yes.
So what you're saying is they're gonna be putting these on people, and then one day they're gonna put it on one guy, and he's gonna be like,
Yeah. Gonna throw everything into
there,
disarray.
what did he do? What did he do to, I don't remember what it was that MJ told him to do
Yeah.
to like get past it essentially. But it was very interesting that yes, the thing that was keeping it from working was magnetism. Wow, what an Easter egg.
So what? I don't know how he solved the problem. He did something with his lenses. I'm assuming you swapped out his lenses or
He
something.
literally, this is where I'm like, all right, y'all just had to. He literally went to the computer, typed a couple things, and it was just like, all right, cool, works
Cool.
now. What?
All right. All right.
You didn't change any materials. You
Yeah.
didn't need to
He
screw
just
something on
he
and
just
off.
he just adjusted the intensity of the magnetic field. That's it.
I
Yeah.
didn't like,
Coming out of his
right.
eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I didn't even catch that. Oh,
I didn't think
So
about that either. Yeah.
so I I'd like to believe that MCU has a goal in mind, a plan, right? That being said, plans sometimes, don't always work out, but I'm hoping it works out with my baby X-Men, like my baby's there. Who's to say what's to come? Um but also like the man spider thing I thought was like it
I
was
thought
just
we was
amazing.
gonna
It was
get
just
six
Spider-Man
arms.
2, right? It was just his stress. Is that what it was?
Yeah, so essentially it was the counter to what happened to Tobey Maguire. And like this was the most sciency they've ever actually explained it. Um, they hint at it in Spider-Man No Way Home where he's like, "Oh, I had a web block. Like I was going through some stuff, powers weren't working." Because I remember as a kid always being like, what I never understood why he was losing his powers. It never made sense to me. Obviously, there were comics where it actually explained it way more, and I just should have checked those out. But I mean, I was 9. Um, but yeah, they basically explained that like spider, like his DNA is part human, part spider, and his emotional state as a spider, it does affect like how just hit him. And like spiders when they're in high stress they may exhibit more twitchiness, heightened senses, more strength, and all this stuff. And so essentially him being so stressed, so emotional, so depressed for that long period of time, kind of all coming to a head with seeing MJ and Ned again, it basically made his spider hormones start to take over more than his human hormones.
Which is
I was
fine.
very shocked we didn't see six arms pop out. I was like, I thought we were gonna get like a nightmare sequence
I
where
was
he at least had a dream that it happened.
I was
I
definitely waiting for the six arms.
Yeah, or a nightmare, like a dream. Sure, like a dream thing where you kind of do that. But like, I think the whole point of this was that stop trying to fight your puberty. You're that is just a normal,
Basically,
just kind of like you're growing into your spiderness. Because this is, if you think about like puberty as a human, this is puberty as a Spider-Man. Because he's been Spider-Man for 8 years now.
hmm
Like, he's getting into that. Like, okay, now we're becoming an adult Spider-Man, right? Um, Question though, at the end of this movie, does he have the spider like the
I would say,
he
yeah.
has organic webbing?
Does he
He
keep the organic webbing, or is he good now because he's not stressed? I don't know. I think he does because to your point of like MJ is trying to tell him maybe you're supposed to just like accept this.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not supposed to block it. I think it's just one of those things of like his powers have evolved now and he needs to just let them be evolved.
He is
Essentially same thing
stronger.
we see. Yeah, it's the same thing with faster,
Yeah.
better. Same thing we see happen with Jean though. Her powers evolved. Um, it'll be interesting how they tackle that in general though with powers and evolution and everything. It was cool seeing Jean because I was like, how is she a telepath right now?
Yeah.
She's supposed to be telekinesis to
Well, she
see
starts off
how that
just as a what does she start off with? She starts off with
telepath.
just
So,
in the comics she's just a telekinetic and then she learns
oh, it goes the
telepathy.
other way. It's
She
the other
learns
way.
telepathy through Xavier's help. Cuz in the original comics Xavier's the only telepath and
Mhm.
Jean is like just a telekinetic.
She can move stuff. He can do minds, and
Yeah,
then
and they can't
so
do either or. But later
they
on,
flipped it with this
yeah,
movie. Then this movie, she started the telepath. Also, another note that I found out, her sister. To Drew, your point, you're like they're doing their own thing. Her sister is not a mutant, at least from what I was reading. Her sister is normally human,
yeah, her
so they really
sister
were
is just
trying to
a
go their own route with this.
yeah. Her sister's a human in the comics, and then died a long time ago in the comics, and only recently came back into the comics through Stephanie Phillips' run of Phoenix, where Jean Grey is the Phoenix and she's out there in space, and then her sister shows up in space and she's like, what the hell? And so she's a cosmic entity called the Beacon. But I didn't get to finish that series, so I don't know exactly what happened, but I think it's interesting in 2025 that they bring her sister back from the dead there, and then for some reason she's a mutant telepath in this who is, as far as we know, dead. She has not mattered to the X-Men mythos at all for the 50 plus years. But 60 plus, I don't know, whatever. But the point being is, like, Sarah Gray has not been she's so inconsequential. And now she's factoring into this, which I'm okay with. It's weird, but it's okay. I'm okay. If she wouldn't have died, she might have joined the X-Men when Jean Grey, you know? It would be 2 mutant, telepath sisters. Okay.
Which is probably why they had to offer. They were like, it's already about to be enough when Xavier find Jean, and he'd be like, so you the one who about exposed us to New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it's the first, essentially, as far as we know, first mutant terrorist attack. That is a public thing, right? So I think, I don't know. We will that's an X-Men conversation. It's like, where are we going with all this? So I think it's going to be interesting. Did you guys just real quick, do you guys like the VMAX reveal? Was it fun? Was it funny? Was it interesting?
I don't think it was funny. I don't have honestly, I don't have any thoughts about that at all.
I was working it in my head. I was like, what is VMAX? Maximoff? Is it a Scarlet Witch thing? Who is V? Wanda Maximoff?
At some point, someone said something, and I was like, is it they're hiding the X-Men file? Like, is it that the letters were jumbled? Did it mean X-Men? Yeah. And then when I found out what VMAX was, I was like, oh no. Said, she's killing everyone.
Yeah. I thought maybe it was a Cerebro prototype, maybe, but like, we're getting way too X-Men-y with that. But like, we've already gotten Jean Grey as a villain who is willing to kill people to get what she wants, right? Okay, fair. Also, it's just funny because Metzger was like, I don't know what that is. And we're meant to think he knows what that is.
I was like, bro, he knows what that is. Playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then later he says, like, you're the second person to bring this up, and I don't know what this is. And we're like, come on, dude. Like,
yeah, but he really didn't know. He really didn't know.
He didn't know. Where are we going? Where are we going with all this? What is the future of Spider-Man in the MCU? What are we expecting? We got Avengers Doomsday, which, as far as we know, Spider-Man's not in. And neither is Hugh Jackman, but I think Hugh Jackman mentioned that Hugh Jackman is in Secret Wars. So what are we doing with Secret Wars? Because we Doomsday comes out this year. And are you sure Secret Wars comes out 2028? It doesn't come out 2027?
No, sorry, it's 2027. Doomsday is this year, Secret Wars 2027. That was my bad.
Because they're filming them back to back, right? And so, kind of like Infinity War and Endgame, we're gonna get even more characters or different characters. So the characters A and characters B, and maybe some die in A and not. You know what I mean? We don't know, but
a buddy put out a video that made me realize when it comes to the post-credit scene, people are forgetting how the Spidey tracker actually works. So to go into the post-credit scene and like where we're going next.
Yeah.
The Spidey tracker doesn't have like a location on Spider-Man. It's people ping that they saw Spider-Man. And so my boy was talking, he was like, yeah, I don't think it's another Spider-Man. I think like Peter uses the app to be like,
call for help.
Space right now. Yeah, I'm in space right now, essentially.
Yeah.
Although I gotta watch the movie again because I think the voice was like another Spidey detected. It might have actually said
I don't
that,
think it said another.
or no, maybe it just said Spider-Man sighting located,
Yeah.
Spidey sighting located.
Spider-Man
So yeah,
activity or something like that.
yeah, Spider-Man activity located. So yeah, it was like, no, someone was like, no, it's not another Spider-Man just popping up in the universe. It it would have to be someone is using the app to say Spider-Man sighting. Now, could that mean a Spider-Man sighting of another Spider-Man? Yes, but it's not inherently the app just picked up on someone else. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a fair point. Didn't think about that
Also,
whatsoever.
post credits aren't always literal. Like a
Yeah.
lot
Those
of
credits also
these
don't mean anything anymore.
yeah. So the idea is it's just meant to tease now and not be like literally in universe. Because here's the thing is why would Ned need a Spider-Man tracker app if he's now friends with Spider-Man?
It's true too.
Because it's not really for the public. He was trying to solve who Spider-Man was. Like it was kind of a hobby of his, right? So I don't know. Um but chances are, yeah, Spider-Man. By the way, it's December 2027, so it's going to be pretty much a year between the two movies.
Yeah.
Not less than a year like Infinity War and Endgame were, but that's fair. It gives them a couple more months to figure their stuff out. I don't know what's going to happen with Spider-Man, but I need more. And and if I think because the first saga is the first saga was what was it called? The Infinity Saga,
Mm-hmm.
then the
Infinity
Multiverse Saga, which I've been a opponent of the multiverse stuff in all this. I think it kind of derailed the MCU, but if we bring it back to basics, and chances are it's going to be mutants, you know, I wouldn't be surprised, and it doesn't have to be mutants everywhere, but like I'm suspecting the next saga is about introducing mutant stuff into, you know, the MCU.
It'd be interesting. How do you do mutants outside of X-Men? Like, will we just be doing X-Men movies,
No,
or
because
is it like
you could do like X-Force, you know what I mean? Like, sure, X related stuff, but you could also do like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants popping into to fight Captain America.
There's uh the Comic-Con panel in Hall H with Deadpool at the end.
Yeah.
They're doing X-Force. That's
Yeah.
why he was dressed like that.
He was wearing the X-Force costume, yeah.
He was also in jeans. Like it was his Jean Grey.
He was wearing Jean Grey.
Yeah.
For being
So
honest, he technically spoiled the movie first, but he didn't say it. He
he's
didn't
also a
confirm it.
troll, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, they're bound to do like to really use the X-Men property, and the question is how do you incorporate mutants? Yeah, you're right, outside of their own sphere, because in the comics they mostly operate in their own sphere of you know stuff, but in this, I mean, I'm actually hoping that the MCU doesn't have one thing they're hinging the whole saga on.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want like different areas of the MCU. I've talked about this for years. Different areas of the MCU that explore different things. Like have magic related movies, have spy, Captain America, Super Soldier related movies, have
with
mutant
identity
related movies, have street level related movies, you know?
That is the thing that I'm hopeful for. And this is how I felt as we finished the Infinity Saga. I think that there was a way that they could have done Multiverse Saga that was way better than obviously what we've gotten.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is that multiverse is where it starts getting complicated, getting complex. The idea to me has always been collapse everything after the Multiverse Saga, and then after that, what you're saying, have those individual focuses. Like, sure, Spider-Man might pop up and stuff, but like, let Spider-Man movies be Spider-Man movies. Let like have more solo depth films, and then like maybe a couple of crossovers or a crossover with some shows or some series, but like you don't have to make every movie build up to a big connected event.
Yeah.
After that, let us miss the big connected events for a little bit. Take big connected events away for like, I mean, dude, you saw how fast 5 years went now. Take away big event movies for like 5 or 10 years to where when they do start like, oh, everything's coming back for this, like we're all excited because it's been so long, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
but
mini events, you know what I mean?
yeah, yo, yeah,
Like,
like even just little mini things, like let there be just like a, I don't know how small this would be. Like, I don't know. Let there just be like a Spider-Man Punisher team up movie. Let there be just like a, like you said, Brotherhood of Mutants versus just Captain America or some shit. Like
yeah.
some stuff that's just like real small and everybody doesn't have to pop up all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Spider-Man and the Defenders. Like
That's
do a
what I meant.
street level, like,
Spider-Man and Daredevil, brother,
you know?
please. That's all
Yeah,
we
like
want.
um you know, Captain America, or like Guardians teaming up with Miss Marvel, teaming up with Captain Marvel, do space, like Fantastic Four, do like a Guardians Fantastic Four, like a space related adventure. Let's be honest, I love Sam Wilson. He doesn't need to be in outer space. Like, let the guy solve problems on Earth. Cool. Spider-Man I don't think needs to be in outer space. Like, don't send him off, you know? Let the
No,
Avengers do
1000%.
Avengers level threats. Avengers shouldn't be synonymous with every hero in Marvel.
That is what's interesting with Doomsday because like it's Avengers Doomsday, but it's like all of these people aren't even like Avengers. It's just like, but we just have to keep it under the moniker.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I do think like after this, the next phase, because like you said, it's interesting to even say that the next phase is the mutant saga, because that's what I mean. Is like, how are you keeping the saga about mutants? Like, why don't we just have mutant stuff, Spidey stuff, street level stuff? I've also, because to Drew's point, I agree. The best Marvel movies are the ones that have their own identity. The reason people love Captain America and the Winter Soldier is that it feels like a spy espionage movie.
Yeah.
People like Shang-Chi, it feels like a kung fu movie. Um,
Ant-Man
but
was a
then
heist movie.
Ant-Man was a heist movie. Those things that when they live in their own genre first and then are in the MCU, same thing with Spider Noir. It has its own, like if you took the Spider-Man part out of it, it's still an enjoyable show.
Yeah.
Those are the type of projects that we need more of. And I am worried because of all recent light events. I even argued, I was like, dude, give us like just some comedies in the MCU. Give us some. But the problem is
Dude,
we've had that and people got toxic about it and they're like, back to blockbusters.
yeah,
And
I
back
mean
to
that's
like, yeah.
like what when it comes to television, like my three favorite MCU TV shows have been the ones that are like the most outside of what, like I loved WandaVision, which like sure has a superhero element, but really it's just like an exploration of television to a degree.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. I really liked She-Hulk.
Yeah.
A lot of people argue with me about that, and I think that almost every single one of those arguments is just dumb. She-Hulk felt like a sitcom that not just took place in the MCU, but like aired in the MCU. And it was like, what are those people watching when they? Because like if these superpowered characters existed and they were driving our culture, there would be stuff like that. We're like, oh yeah, this is just a sitcom about a lawyer. Also, she happens to have superpowers, and
Yeah.
that would be weird. And I thought that was great. And then I loved Wonder Man, which is just a character study about an actor. And then there's the one episode that really like sets the stakes of like why it is so dangerous for people to know that he has powers. Not dangerous in a like world-threatening way, but dangerous in a it's gonna affect the course of his life sort of way.
Yeah.
And like those are all pretty small things. WandaVision being the biggest in terms of stakes. Uh, and they were great. Like they were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Personal stakes
absolutely.
are important. You don't have to have universal,
Yeah.
multiversal
Exactly.
stakes. Um, like
If I have to
when
look
Aunt
at
May dies in the previous movie, when she dies, it doesn't affect anyone else but Peter Parker,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. If I
Um,
have to look at another like light beam shooting into the sky in a superhero movie, I don't
yeah.
know what I'm gonna
Yeah,
do.
it's just like, man, like I think that's where the problem is. The MCU did start to be like bigger, better, grandiose, and it's like some of your best stories are where you actually like really bring it down and put a microscope on something. And I do, and my to get out of Spider-Man Brand New Day for a quick second, it's
Yeah.
like my fear with Avengers Doomsday is they're swinging so far back the other direction to like spectacle because like the loud minority on the internet has just made them feel like, oh, well, people don't want the different. But to Drew, your point, my favorite projects have been. I enjoyed She-Hulk. I was like, we need to just have like the MCU is such an established universe now. What is wrong with subsidizing? Because, like, sure, they don't make all the most money as the biggest movies, but what's wrong with subsidizing some more focused projects that are just that are catered to people who are interested in them?
Yeah.
And actually, because again, you Wonder Man is literally, regardless of what it says, it's their most successful TV show as far as critical and audience acclaim. It was their most successful. It's Emmy nominated, and
Yeah.
then you're just like, yeah, but the people online were like, we want to talk about big beams in the sky and Thor's axe being stopped by Doom, and it's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, all
So
right.
this is the way I tackle the people out there. Everybody has different tastes. I think that if anybody says that their taste is better than other people's taste, like I guess that's your opinion, but also everybody has different tastes because like
Mm.
everybody's coming at things from different things. They want different things, and that also kind of applies to the MCU. They want different things out of the MCU. So although I don't agree with people who just want the same old formulaic stuff, I understand that that's what they like, and it would suck if that the more challenging stuff are challenging their brains, and they don't want that. Okay, fair. I don't think we should deny any group their specific thing that they want as far as taste is concerned. But that also means that we have to have things. WandaVision brought so many women into the fandom. And then a lot of people hated that because they're like, why are all these women popping up in the fandom? It's like, yeah, because they deserve to be here too. But also the Marvel made something that worked and resonated, right? And like they experimented and Miss Marvel did something different, right? I loved Miss Marvel. It did something different and it created new conversations, right? At the same time, I think the Marvel misstep was give them just a blockbuster Avengers movie. Just appease them just on that so they can stop whining that there is a She-Hulk TV show. Cuz it's like just go back to your Avengers movie where
You can just go watch Avengers on Disney Plus. Like,
yeah,
you don't have to be mad about this.
but like they should have movies that are just kind of like dumb punch 'em ups, as long as they're not sacrificing the Wonder Mans and the Miss Marvels and doing that sort of thing. Because not everything can be everything to everybody. But the MCU, when it's firing on all cylinders, should have something for everybody. We have
Mm.
Spidey and his friends or whatever, that little kid cartoon, right? I don't watch a damn second of that because I'm also
I
not a little
watch it
baby.
every day. I
Do you?
watch it
Because you have
every
kids, right?
day. Yep,
Which
my
is
daughter
fair, and
loves
that would be
that
cool to
show.
watch with kids, right? But for me, I don't need to invest my time in that because that doesn't apply to me, and that's okay. I'm not also saying Marvel should spend their time elsewhere and not create kids like cartoons for kids. That'd be stupid for me to say that. But just like that,
Hmm.
I don't say it's like I'm not saying it's take away She-Hulk for the people who enjoy She-Hulk. That doesn't make any sense unless it's a low quality show. Secret Invasion was a low quality show, but they could have retooled that and kept that same thing, just made it better. Sure, you know.
Did y'all finish Secret Invasion?
I
I
did.
didn't.
Let me put it this way: I had an after show for it, and we stopped the after show like halfway through. Like we couldn't. We were like, we can't continue this after show.
He said we can no longer continue to do this.
We can't keep talking about these episodes. They were
Oh,
nonsense.
oh man. Hey, it sounds like me and Drew got to have some follow up with you on overall MCU because yeah, as you guys can tell, we love this stuff because we went from Brand New Day to the implications of the future of this
Yeah,
entire franchise. But
yeah,
I love this movie. I love this niche and very passionate about it. This is, whew, Spider-Man Brand New Day was great. I gotta go
It
see
was,
it again. I'm about to go
yeah,
get my tickets now.
yeah. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to point out, I was looking at AMC listings for this movie. They're all sold out. All the Dolby are sold out for the
I
next couple of days.
I went to so I went to see this movie on Thursday in the middle of the afternoon. Sold out show.
Yeah,
Great. I saw it at 12:30 p.m. and it was sold out, except for maybe a couple seats, right? I went back to the movies yesterday to see a different movie, and I just happened to walk past like all the showings that they had of Brand New Day, and it was, I mean, maybe a seat open in the front row in one theater, another theater completely full, and
yeah.
it was just like I was leaving my movie about 10 o'clock, maybe. It was late. And I was just watching, like seeing everybody in the theater. Just it's cool to see a full movie theater. Like that's
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really fun.
Agree.
And there are times where that doesn't happen. When I did leave Brand New Day, I was walking out and I was recognized by two siblings who I used to teach,
That's
and
fire.
they were like, "Oh, we're going to see Spider-Man. Are you?" And I said, "I just left." And they were like, "Don't tell me anything, but did you like it?" You know, and it was just like, it's fun when like movies. I mean, I'm like I'm not the most like artsy fartsy guy when it comes to movies, but I like small movies. I like independent movies, and I like movies that have a lot to say. I like movies that are more substance over style, right?
yeah.
A lot of the time. Um,
I like to have my cake and eat it too. I need my movies to have substance and style. I think some people
and
think that if you have substance, you can't have style.
and it
No.
and it is always great when that happens, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is an example of that. Um, but I know that like I know that so the movie I went to see yesterday was I Want Your Sex. I know a movie with that title is not going to appeal to everybody. It's fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was great. Uh, I know that that's not the movie that's getting everybody to the theater, right?
Yeah.
So we need these
Mhm.
movies that like really, appeal to a wide audience to make the next generation of movie lovers. I got into movies because my dad took me to see Star Wars in when the
Mhm.
special editions came out in 97, right? And I felt that energy. And Star Wars are not the most artistically sound movies in the world. They're great movies. I love them, right?
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back is my favorite movie. Um, but they're not the art house film,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And that's fine. But when we do have these big blockbusters, I'm glad that it is stuff like this that isn't just super vapid and
Yeah.
they appeal to a lot of people because like there's the spectacle, but they also happen to be good movies.
Yeah. I have two closing thoughts, and then I have a comment from somebody on Instagram. One is that it's funny. I saw Hades Town the musical, and I don't ever see musicals on the big screen. Like it was a
Hmm.
pro shot, is what it's called.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like I got to see it, and I didn't know what I was going to think about it, but I loved it. It was great, and they announced that they were going to do more showings. Problem is with Spider-Man, they're actually cutting showings now of
Yeah.
Hades Town. They're continuing. They extended it, but there's less auditoriums because Spider-Man is like 10 to
Mhm.
15 auditoriums at once at all these movie theaters.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it right now and it's crazy. Second
My
thing
home
is,
theater literally is going 24/7.
yeah.
I
Oh,
haven't seen a theater do
24/7?
that. This
Mine,
entire weekend, they are showing it at
oof,
like 2 and 5 a.m.
that's like Infinity War Endgame level like stuff.
And
So
those are sold out. Like
yeah, I can't take my
it's
mom. I'm going to take my mom next weekend. Like I can't take my mom this weekend now. So,
Yeah.
you know, because I want to see it in Dolby. I'm going to see like my second time has to be in Dolby. Because it's not in IMAX. Odyssey has IMAX, so
this
can't do
this is
that.
2:30. This is 2:30 in the morning.
That's crazy. Yeah, and
It's
I know
insane.
this is the type of movie people are seeing multiple times too. This could clock in. I didn't expect this to clock in at the great, highest grossing movie of all time. Could it get there? Oh,
It might. It
I don't
might,
know.
depending on those international numbers, it might.
Yeah. Also, Marvel is very, very lucky, or they probably positioned it this way. This came out a couple months before Doomsday. This
Yes,
reinvigorates
definitely.
people's interest in MCU.
Yeah, definitely, positioned that way intentionally,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Because the last Spider-Man movie came out after Endgame, right?
hmm
And so
This
it's,
is the first
or like
one
not
that
last, but yeah.
is not. This is the first one that's not following an event film.
Yeah.
The first one followed basically Avengers 2.5 Civil War.
Oh yeah.
Second one followed
Endgame.
Endgame. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, never mind. Third one didn't follow a
It followed the real
third
life
one.
pandemic.
Yeah, it followed the real life pandemic. It followed the real life canon event.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they're yeah, we'll see what happens. Comic book stash, some of us know him, all of us love him, said on Instagram, this movie felt like a needed break from big MCU villains.
Agreed. Yeah.
Again, yeah, it
I
wasn't a
agree.
beam in the sky sort of situation. It was very down to earth, even with the inclusion of Jean Grey. I'll give it that.
Yeah. It was first and foremost a story about Peter Parker.
Yeah, yeah. And then the relative people are relatively giving it A's or B's. So looks like
Yeah.
nobody's really giving it anything lower than that. So shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to Comic Book Stash. Shout out to people who were in our chat. You seen that guy Blake Koala hopped in. Ash
Shout
one
out
two
to the
three one
boys.
Comics. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you, Drew. Thank you, Jay, so much for coming on this show and talking Spider-Man Brand New Day, because I know not only is it a big movie, but like we all really wanted to talk about it, and I'm happy that I had you two on this. It's nice to bring in the A-listers. You know.
Appreciate that.
And
We
when
on
they're
the
not
button
available,
meetup.
I'll throw in a request to be there.
Drew, before we get going, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
You can find me in most corners of the internet, Drew X Deficit. Uh, I'm over on TikTok, talking about comics, politics, movies, music, right, and the intersection between all of them. I got my big cartel store, so I can send you some mini comics, if that's a thing that you're into. Working on stuff, hopefully more professional comic writing work.
Heck yeah.
And I think I might start a second Instagram that's just about comic stuff. So we're gonna see about that. But
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Making my life tougher too. I'm gonna have to change all these handles and everything that I got you under.
Nah, you can leave it. You can leave that. It's just I need a place. I need a place to I need a
Nerd
place.
out. Yeah,
I need a
yeah.
place.
Yeah.
I
So
need
that
a
I'm not
place.
just like bogging my like my friends who don't care about my comic book stuff with just all that stuff.
I was thinking about that too with my Instagram. I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta figure that out. Drew, also, I still haven't gotten the Justice League game signed by you, and I brought it.
I forgot. I know.
I brought it to San Diego, and I can't.
I thought about that like
I was
on the
like,
way
ah, shit.
home.
Jay, if you didn't know, Drew wrote a Justice League game for the Switch. And so
Really?
Justice League, what was called? It's right there, Cosmic Chaos. And so he wrote the story for it. So anyone out there who wants to, it's sort of a kids all ages focused.
It's a Saturday morning cartoon starring the Justice League.
That's pretty fire.
Yeah,
It's a cool concept.
So I mean, Jay, you
Another
got
fun concept like
it's
that.
out. Wait, is it Switch 2 or Switch 1?
It's on every console.
Okay.
However,
I have it on Switch. That's what
it did get delisted from the online stores because licenses ran out.
Oh, so it's a collector's item now?
You can only buy it physical.
Okay, cool. All right.
Shout out to the physical media.
Yeah. By the way, I'll buy this. Give me a steel book of Brand New Day. Come on.
You'll get
I
one.
do want to see a Steelbook, A Brand New Day, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Thank you, Drew, so much for coming on.
Thank
Jay,
you.
where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. This is always great to chill with the Keeg
Yeah.
show. Meeting great new people like Drew. Definitely want to make sure to connect with you. You can find me everywhere at jphrygian, JPHRYGIAN. Or TikTok. I have a second page, jphrygian 2.0.
Mm.
I'm getting good now. You can actually search J Fridge, so just JAY and then space fridge, like refrigerator, and I'll also come up. That's a little bit easier for people, but those are the ats. We just recently wrapped up a 30-day Spider-Man series. Did a 30-day Spider-Man series leading up to Brand New Day. So if anybody wants to check out that, it's full of Spider-Man suit rankings, live action actor rankings, different just trivia and analysis on the character of Spider-Man. As far as anything coming up, no, we just came back from San Diego Comic-Con. So I'm just trying to get out a bunch of content from there, get out some vlogs, trying to start getting a little bit more popping on some different styles of content on Instagram. So just be sure to check me out. If you're able to check out the YouTube channel, I'm trying to get monetized over there. So subscribe to that. And other than that, you'll find me coming to try and talk about Marvel and Spider-Man and any other topics that Dimitri would like me to hop on. I can't make time all the time because I also have a job and like full-time job, and I'm a dad, but I make time when I can, and I'm here to please the masses.
I'm always glad to have you on, Jay. So thanks so much for
Yeah,
being
thank you
here.
for asking me.
Yeah, yeah. For anyone out there who wants to follow me, you can follow me at This Is Dimitri on TikTok and Instagram. I'm trying to create more content that is just there. Right now, there's a lot of collab content with me and the Keeg Show. If you want to follow the Keeg Show on all social media, at the Keeg Show, you can follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Those are our two biggest ones. We're also on all the other social media apps and platforms. You don't have to pay a damn cent to support us. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, write a review, help us out in any which way you can. If you want to pay, however much you want to pay, we do got a Patreon, patreon.com/The Keeg Show. There is a drunk episode on there right now, and you do get Keeg shirts. I think if you subscribe for 3 months, you get a Keeg shirt in the mail. So if you want, they're rare. You can only really get it through there. So if you want a Keeg shirt, subscribe to the Patreon. We're trying to create also more exclusive content for Patreon. Right now, we're leaning really into drunk episodes or adult-oriented conversations there. We might do like the sex lives of X-Men. Who knows? We might talk about that. See what these X-Men are up to in our heads. Who knows? We'll see. That's on Patreon, patreon.com/The Keeg Show. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Tomorrow, we are doing a follow-up to our 90s cartoon draft panel that we did at San Diego Comic-Con, because we only got 50 minutes to do that panel. We're going to go more in depth about what we chose. And it's me, it's Justin at Freddy's Roommate, Paige at Paige Blackcloud, and Joshua at Joshua Stephen Ling, who are on the panel. We're going to talk more about it tomorrow, Saturday, August 2nd, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, youtube.com/The Keeg Show. So, that'll be fun to bring the gang back together after like a week. So, talk about 90s cartoons, if anyone out there is interested in that. That's pretty much it. youtube.com/The Keeg Show, also on Spotify, also on Apple Podcasts. We also got Comic Talk, which is our weekly show where we talk about comics that came out that week. That is every Thursday on YouTube, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single week. A lot of stuff in store. Definitely stay tuned. At The Keeg Show is probably the easiest way to stay tuned until we get our website up and running again. So that's pretty much it. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Jay. Thank you to everybody out there. Once again, I am your host, Dimitri Pereira, and this has been the Keeg Talks Spider-Man Brand New Day. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Hey.